Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, um, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2. It is about 12:30 p.m. here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let me turn my sound off real quick. Everybody, this is Kyle, and it's January 31st, 2020. Welcome to anybody coming into the chat. Welcome to any targeted individuals, anybody else. Hope that if you're a targeted individual, you're finding some comfort. So welcome all you warriors and warrioresses. I'm just going to do a little live stream tonight, kind of on the coronavirus outbreak. It's now in every province in China. Hey Wayne, how you doing, man? Live long and prosper. There's some heavy stuff going on in the world right now, on top of global directed energy weapon targeting. And as I look into the coronavirus, it just seems like more and more it is a man-made biological weapon. One thing that you can tell that it's a man-made biological weapon that somehow got out. Now the question is, did it get out on purpose, or was it an accident and it spread in China? But one way you can tell is that it takes 14 days. It can take up to 14 days to show symptoms and signs of having the virus. So I've been doing research on it, and it hides within the immune system, so the immune system can't fight it. It takes like 2 weeks to show up, to show signs and symptoms. Now, they're making a man-made biological weapon. They would want to hide it so you couldn't tell before it infected a bunch of people, right? Now the question is, did it get out accidentally, or is this on purpose? Did China do this on purpose? Did the military industrial complex in China decide to do this in a certain area to kill some people, to see how people would react? Is kind of a not a false flag because people are really dying, but kind of as a test case scenario. And it's spreading, right? It's in Canada now. It's in a lot of other countries. I think it's even in California. I probably in other places. Hey, James Stewart. James Stewart says, hey, Vulcan, live long and prosper, guys. We fight on. Hey, Andrew Littleton. Andrew Littleton says, what up, Kyle? Nothing much. I'm hanging in there. I'm not doing great. Just gonna admit it. I'm not doing great, but spiritually, I'm doing good. Spiritually, I'm kicking ass. Spiritually, I'm moving forward. Physically and mentally, I'm very tired. The mind control, all the time remote neural manipulation, V2K, psychic driving, it's just wearing me out. And then on top of other life issues, it's drowning me. But we keep moving forward, right? We just keep moving forward. Hey, Alan Nielsen Brewer says, hey, Kyle, hello, fellow TIs, my new family. Hey, fam, the TI fam. I have a bunch of stuff. Yeah, James Stewart says Agenda 21, wouldn't doubt it. I have tonight, guys, I have like a bunch of stuff that I want to show, but I'm gonna break it up over a couple of live streams, and we might hang out tonight. I don't know how long we might do a panel after I just show these few things on the coronavirus, and then people can come on and we can just hang out. We can talk about targeting. If you want to talk about what you think about the coronavirus, and what's going on in the world in general, because there's a lot of death, right? There's a lot of it, I always bring stuff, and well, we'll talk about it first, but I always do bring stuff back to this global system of neuroweapon attacks and directed energy weapon attacks. It's a weapon system that hides, right? You can't see. Some people say they can see the directed energy with their naked eye, but it's hard to get that. It's hard to see the directed energy with your naked eye. It's hidden so that people ignore it, so that people don't know what's going on, and then it can kill people secretly, it can torture people secretly. And then obviously they've got the other side of that. They've got biological weapons and chemical weapons that it's hard for people to know what's going on, right? And there's a big push by the military industrial complex of the world to test these things out and to see how the public will react, right? That's why I really wanted to look into the coronavirus. I usually don't sway from global, global mind control, global neuro weapons attacks and directed energy weapons attacks. But I thought that I had to kind of get into this when it's such a horror, what's going on in China, and then it's coming to Canada and the United States, and people are dying from it. People are dying from it. The Ella virus. Ella Adkins says the Ella virus. Yeah, the Kyle virus. Yeah, we're viruses, but we're good viruses. We're good viruses that kill the bad stuff. So we're weaponized awesomeness. Sleepless in 2012 says, "Hi, I'll keep you in my prayers." Thank you, Sleepless in 2012. Any prayers, guys? We need to pray for everyone in China, especially what's the province of Wutan? No, it's not. It's for Wuhan. Wuhan. We need to pray for everybody in Wuhan, but everybody in China, and now Vancouver. It's come to Vancouver, and I want to show y'all a video from somebody in Vancouver talking about it. I really like this guy, and I just wanted to show y'all his videos. He usually doesn't commentate on political things. He's like a gamer. He's gone through cancer and stuff like that, but he's like this really funny guy, and he does videos on this. I really like his approach to things because he's very humorous about serious stuff, because he knows that people like see these things that we're talking about as conspiracy, right? So he kind of wraps up the truth in a little bit of jokey, and it kind of helps people to digest what's going on and not be afraid. We've got to find some creative ways to make the normal population aware of all these dangers and how people at the top and in the military industrial complex are playing games. I mean, they're playing the world like it's a petri dish. They're playing normal families like they're a petri dish with directed energy weapons, neuro weapons, biological weapons, psyops, propaganda, and everything like that. And it's a scary time where us normal people, especially targeted individuals, but just normal people everywhere, have to band together and not be afraid to speak the truth and to know what's coming at us, to know what we're dealing with. So we don't get afraid and hurt each other, or there's not a lot of fear in the system, because that's what these people at the top work off of. They work off of people's ignorance and fear of situations and what's happening. Ella Advocate says, "Wayne, have a look at the kids' activities for homeschooling they drew. They drew a rainbow on the driveway for our." Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Sleepless in 2012 says probably wouldn't affect Gates because he's not human. Yeah, a lot of people are saying Bill and Melinda Gates were funded the patent. I'll read something on that. So yeah, El Advocate says Bill Gates offered funding to find a vaccine for the coronavirus. I really would not be surprised if he was involved or they were involved in the research to create the coronavirus, because he's really into depopulating the third world. A lot of these very rich people that are in the elite, they really do want to depopulate. They think depopulating the third world, the second world, the first world is part of what they need to do to make the world more healthy. So I mean, that's where we're getting all this stuff from, this torture and Agenda 21. Oh, it's drawing rainbows is good, you know. Homeschooling kids are really smart. I wasn't homeschooled, but I know that kids that have homeschooling are very, very smart. James Stewart says, "I left my phone home a couple of times. I thought the gang stalking would stop, and it didn't. That's because of the drones I see all the time around me, especially at night." Yeah, and you just have stuff in your system. You have catalysts. They do have regular implants. Then they have nanotechnology in us, and then our microwave attackers can even just go off of our unique brainwave signature once they've got that. And then they can get that data back to DHS fusion centers. Like, so they give the data of your GPS location back to DHS fusion centers or InfraGard based off of them targeting your unique brainwave signature. So DHS fusion center and InfraGard may not even know how they're getting that GPS, but they got it. So you don't even really need your phone. You know, like I think a lot of targeted individuals have done this. Like I took my phone and my key, I took everything off of me and put it in my car, and I just walked out into the woods, and I was still getting hit with voice to skull, and I was still getting hit with external directed energy, and I had nothing. I had nothing on me, and they were still targeting me. So they had my position, even though I had none of my stuff, not my phone or anything. Hey, Tiber Septum, and hey, David Irwin. How you doing? Hey, Jeanette Dizette. Jeanette Dizette says, hi, Colin, everyone. David Irwin says, low back. Hello, hello. Let's get into this, guys. So then we can have a hangout. Then we'll do a panel after I show this stuff. I just want to show like a video. I really like this guy. I recommend his channel if you're a gamer. He usually doesn't talk about a lot of political stuff, but since he's in Vancouver and the coronavirus has come to Vancouver, and it's in every province in China now, and then Wuhan is just, they're saying it's like 6,000 to 10,000 people who've contracted it. But then a lot of people are coming out, a lot of news sources are coming out that are saying it's way over that. It's in like the hundreds of thousands, and a lot of people are dying. So it's like, what is it now? It's a pandemic. It's an epidemic now. Because it's crossing continents, so it's like an epidemic now. Yeah, and it takes 14 days to show up. So I think a lot of countries, they're making people that are coming back from China to go to those countries, they're quarantining them for like 14 days. But that's a huge just red flag that this is a biological weapon. If something hides within the immune system until it presents itself as the virus and presents what's it called? Presents like the effects of the virus, the physical effects. You can tell it's a biological weapon. That's a big sign of it. Hey, Honey Badger. Honey Badger says, hey, what's up, y'all? What's up? Live long and prosper. So I'm going to show this, and hey, Judy Gray. I'm going to show this real quick. We'll just kind of get into, and then I have a little article to read, and then we'll do a panel where we just hang out, and y'all can talk about targeting, talk about solutions that you found, just anything, just anything. Yeah, Jeanette Dizette says they unleashed it on purpose, in my opinion. Yeah, that's my opinion too. I don't know enough yet. I'm thinking it's like that either it was accidentally released from one of these institutes that was creating different kinds, because the coronavirus is like, there's many different kinds of them. And so they're, making different kinds and different strains and stuff. So it either accidentally did that. I don't think so though, because we're in a time in our Earth's history where the military industrial complex of certain nations are just like seeing what would happen if they release a biological agent and killing people, and they want to genocide people. So I kind of agree with you, Jeanette, that it's a huge issue. Okay, yeah, okay, so Judy Gray says Wayne just made a video, thanks for motivation. So everybody check out Wayne Morris, W-A-Y-N-E. You can see him in the chat, Wayne Morris, W-A-Y-N-E, and then Morris, M-O-R-R-I-S. Go check out his channel. And also lately, I've been watching a lot of Future Knowledge's channel. I really like his videos. He's very calm, and he just, thinks about this stuff and speaks on it. And it kind of makes me able to listen to the information without getting like, real agitated or anything like that. So also, check out Future Knowledge's channel. And anybody who has a channel, so Judy Gray, also check out Judy Gray's channel, J-U-D-Y and then G-R-A-Y. Okay, let's start this video. I just want to show you all this. Really like this guy. He has like a gaming channel. And he's talking about, so coronavirus is a leaked biological weapon that has a patent. So there's a patent for the certain type of the coronavirus. I think there's just a lot of proof and research coming out that it is a man-made biological virus, man-made virus, you know, and it's mutating as it's out in the public, which, you know, maybe they're seeing how it will mutate, you know. I think it was purposeful too. And I don't know what's going to happen because it seems like it's spreading very, very fast. And it's actually killing people. So it's like a huge issue. I love this guy.
All right, everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome to the video. I'm 8 Thoughts. Appreciate y'all coming on by, checking out the video. Hope you're all doing well. And ladies and gentlemen, got a video here for you today. I touched on it on my last video where we talked about coronavirus a little bit towards the end. A lot of you might have missed it, so I figured this deserves its own video because this rabbit hole, which is not even really a rabbit hole, but based on facts and how I think, in my opinion, not trying to fearmonger, but I put 2 and 2 together, put the big brain in use, have come to kind of a conclusion. It's a theory that is, you know, based upon some weird coincidences and some facts that have taken place here in Canada as well as in China with arrests. And it kind of seems like to me that maybe this outbreak and this pandemic that is slowly, well, not pandemic yet, but the beginnings of a pandemic, and how the government of China have reacted so crazy and just went off the chain right away with very few people sick, and how they seem to have overreacted. It seems like they knew something about this virus before anyone else did, and knows how deadly it can be and how contagious it can be, because I think that this coronavirus is either a biological weapon that snuck out of the level 4 biological lab in Wuhan, or through someone's negligence was released. Let me just explain this to you first of all, because some of you may not know what's going on as far as like the logistics of the situation. But let's start at the beginning first. So this theory of mine is also based upon some fan.
Okay, so he goes into this. The Chinese Resident Evil fans think this biotech company's logo looks familiar. There's this RLSW. If you've ever played Resident Evil, the Umbrella Corporation has this umbrella like this, but it's red, and this RLSW has the same kind of sign. And for anybody who knows Resident Evil, it's like they release a virus that turns everybody into zombies. So it's kind of weird. It's just weird. Like, I don't know what it means, but he's going to kind of talk about that
as well, that are, you know, a year or two old. But like I said, my theory is based upon facts. Anyways, the point is that if you know about the video game Resident Evil, the Umbrella Corporation was a biotechnological company that dealt with, you know, biological warfare and all kinds of great stuff, and the virus released into the world,
big monsters and stuff like that.
You know, they had a bunch of movies and the video games takes place in Raccoon City, and you know.
So hey, Lion in the Lamb says the Bible says pestilences and earthquakes before the rise of the Antichrist. And James Stewart says, Vulcan, do you think there will be civil war? I don't know, James Stewart. I think that all these things that are going on, they're gonna like our targeting, the global neuroweapons targeting and everything, they're gonna try and do it in increments, right? And there's wars going on all around the world right now. I think a lot of skirmishes and stuff aren't being reported. So I think the world is at war. It's just the way that the news is flowing and everything. They're trying to not let the public in on it, that there's a huge war. There's a huge war between the military industrial complex of the world versus the public. Then there's actual skirmishes between militaries of other countries over in the Middle East. But I think a lot of it's not being reported on. And civil war, what would that mean? Would that mean that the public would have to, you know, get angry and do something? I don't know what that would look like, because the military industrial complex just has so much power. I think that the best idea to stop all the corruption and the killing and the genocide is for the public to start really complaining about it, the public to start saying, no, this is incredibly wrong, start calling the media, their senators, and really like I don't think a civil war is going to really help anything, because that's going to be, who's that going to be against? Would it be just the regular public with their regular guns versus like the military industrial complex that could just shoot like a huge directed energy beam and just cook them all? I don't know. People talk about a civil war. I don't know. I don't know how that would look. I think it's a lot more complicated than just like a regular civil war, because it's really a global war, you know? This isn't just a war in America, the American military industrial complex versus the American public. It's like every country's leadership, their military industrial complex is trying to murder their citizens, but quietly, control their brains, propaganda, biological agents, toxins and chemtrails, nanotechnology and chemtrails, to slowly and silently murder people with cancer and direct targeting of the brain and the nervous system, and then make it like, oh, if you talk about that, it's a conspiracy theory. So will the normal general public ever speak up or say, oh, this is something that concerns me, until they're hit with it, and then it's like, oh, will anybody speak up for them? You see, so there's this algorithm of how they're taking out people and killing percentages of the population, where I don't know if the general public of any country really has it in them to take up arms. And then who do you fight, right? Do you just go to the government who's clueless, or you go to the military installations? We've seen huge protests in France and in Hong Kong. We need to see more protests in America. I think that the ideal civil war would be protesting, would be many people protesting the way things are, and people being tortured and experimented on. I don't see, like, I mean, civil war, who would be fighting? It would be the American public. I don't think that, I think the American public doesn't have, I mean, this isn't like an insult, because we need a lot of people in the public on our side, but our spines are jelly now. Like, people's spines are jelly, and they want to hold on to what they have in their present moment. And I just don't, they're not like our forefathers who were like, take up arms and go die, for what they believe in. I think we are, because we're already being murdered. So we're like, what do we have to lose? But I just don't know. I don't know if that would ever happen. I guess it is in other countries. Like in some countries, people are rioting and stuff like that, like in Venezuela. So that's kind of a civil war. People are like rioting, or were rioting in Venezuela because of socialism coming in and destroying the country. We have riots here. I don't know. I guess it depends on how bad it gets, and if awareness and protesting can fix the issue. But I think that if it gets so bad, I think that's like inevitable. Violence is inevitable from the public. It's just like, what kind of violence is that going to be? Because it's getting really bad. Yeah, James Stewart says protesting doesn't really work. They'll just arrest them. But didn't the protesting in Hong Kong work? They got some changes in the protesting in France. There were changes. There were economic changes made. So protesting does work if it's enough people. It really does. There changes get made. The government eventually caves in if it's enough of the public getting upset. It really does, but it has to be enough people, right? If it's not a big enough protest, then you're right. It doesn't make any changes. I don't know. People talk about a civil war a lot. I don't know. I just don't. I think it's going to be a little bit more complicated than that.
Umbrella corporation, and now in China there's a biotechnological corporation that is into pharmaceuticals as well, that is in China, and I believe it's in Wuhan as well. In Resident Evil, the Umbrella Corporation is an evil biotechnology and pharmaceutical conglomerate. Shanghai Ruyan Biohao-Susan Biotech Limited is also in biotechnology, and as Chinese Resident Evil fans point out, has a similar logo. Their offices and their labs are in Wuhan. So we come now to also this situation that occurred in Canada. Now, if you know as well, level 4 labs are the highest level biosecurity level labs in the world that deal with the most deadly and communicable diseases in the world. Ebolas, Black Plagues, and all kinds of typhoid, every kind of crazy disease, and just every single virus that could be, considered the highest level threat to humanity are in these labs, and they create lab viruses as well. They do research, and who knows what's going on in them. And there's only so many labs in this world. One lab in Canada that has a level 4 ranking is in Winnipeg, and the couple other ones, there's a couple in China, and one in the last couple of years was just built, and that would be in Wuhan, China. Canadian government scientists under investigation trained staff at level 4 lab in China, in Wuhan. I have to throw this into the video right now. This is post-production. I found this out while doing more research, but there seems to have been a patent for the coronavirus that has already been filed in the European Patent Office, patent number EP3172319P1. The application was filed by the Pitt-Bright Institute in Pitt-Bright Industry. Bill Gates funds this Pitt-Bright Institute, which owns now the patent on this coronavirus, and draws into all kinds of questions now about what actually is really going on. As it says here, depopulation for profit, and who really knows now what is the end game here and what's really going on. But I thought I'd just throw this in as I found it. But now we'll continue back into the video, and we put all this together now with the pieces of the puzzle. It's all really.
Ask yourself: does it really think like that could be an accident? Like that a virus gets out in Wuhan and now is in every province in China. And now it's like spreading to Canada and the United States, other countries. Like I don't probably a lot of other countries. Does that seem like it could just be an accident? Like they wouldn't have precautions in place in those institutes that are creating these viruses. They wouldn't have huge protocols for when somebody gets some of the virus on them or something like that. You think they wouldn't have protocols in place to make sure that never happened? I mean, just an accident, especially if it's like a man-made designer virus, and it's also very telling how the news reports that, it started at a fish market, right? It was this virus, and they think it started at some kind of fish market, to cover up that it came out of one of these institutes that actually creates viruses. It would have strict protocols on anybody leaving that place. Just doesn't seem that it seems like there's a 0% probability that, whoops, somebody that worked in one of those institutes kind of just came out and had the virus on them or breathed it. I think you get it by like kissing or saliva or coughing. So seems like a 0% probability that it would just be an accident to me. From what I've studied and what I know about everything going on, seems very unlikely.
So this happened back in July. So this lady here, give you the clip notes, Chinese doctor,
David Irwin says Imperial Pale Ale, lots of hops, good for re-regulating gut bacteria levels. I want to get some beer soon. Hey, Barefoot Sungazer. Hey, Tansy. Hey, Warrior Woman. Yeah, Jeanette Dizette says Bill Gates owns the patent on the coronavirus. I think he funded the company, Yeah. Designer virus, and then it just gets out. This strong of a virus that hides within the immune system. The immune system doesn't even know that it's there for like 2 weeks. It can be up to 2 weeks. Yeah, that was just like just a natural virus occurring in a fish market. I don't think so, because you think about when they're creating biological weapons, they would want something that would take a long time to show up because it could affect more people in that short amount, in that long amount of time that it takes for the virus to even show up, the symptoms and everything like that. Hey, PA1. PA1 says, hi Barefoot and Autumn. Hey, Autumn. Yeah, James Stewart says, why didn't Ozzy Osbourne get coronavirus when he bit the head off a bat on stage? That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, they were saying it was either from like fish that they ate or some kind of bats or something like that. It's very reminiscent, right, of the Cuban embassy attacks where they're like crickets, mass hysteria, this, that. You know, the news is kind of going all over the place for a while because they're trying to stall. They're trying to stall people from getting to understand what really happened, right? Before they can kind of spin it, you know, figure out a way to spin it and kind of cover up what was probably purposely done in the first place, you know.
We, her biologist husband, and her students have not returned to work at the National Microbiology Lab in Winnipeg after being escorted out in July. RCMP are still investigating what was described by Public Health Agency of Canada as a possible policy breach. So this this scientist who was trained in the level 4 lab in Wuhan, China, was working in the level 4 lab here in Winnipeg, Canada, and they obviously did something wrong. The Canadian government and the RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, haven't really, they never divulged actually what happened, but they have never returned, and I believe I don't know what the hell they're doing, but this Chinese doctor here who was trained in the level 4 lab in Wuhan with massive, crazy, scary, the viruses, was working in Canada and was kicked out basically, and who knows what happened. Now, when you put that together with the fact that there is a virus that no one knows about and not sure what's going on, it apparently has mutated in China, that originated in Wuhan, where the level 4 lab for biological research, and I don't know what the hell they do over there, maybe they're creating biological weapons that deal with the most communicable and dangerous diseases in the world, happens to be. And this lady here, Dr. Jing Zhaohui, trained there and still had ties with the Chinese government, but was arrested 6 months ago in Canada from a level 4 lab, the only one in Canada, and her husband and her students, and they've all been kicked out because they did something wrong, something criminal. RCMP doesn't get involved if it's like, they know, they did something silly, like, oh, not a big deal, hey man, you forgot to put away the milk in the staff room and it went bad, shame on you, Jing Zhao. Like, no.
This is just a theory. I do think that this was on purpose, but I'm thinking like if some scientist or something got kicked out of the lab, or there was some kind of legal thing where maybe they were trying to take some of the virus and then sell it like on the black market or something like that, and then it got released. I don't think that's what happened, but it's kind of got me thinking about that, how he's saying that the RCMP got involved with these scientists for some reason. Yeah, I think that's kind of a red herring. I really think it was purposeful.
Well, RCMP don't get called up for some kind of, discipline like that. It's a criminal case. So she did something that would be considered criminally negligent. Like, I don't know. So you put those two together, and then we can add even more to this problem with this. So we have some kind of weird connections now between China and Canada in level 4 biomedical labs that deal with crazy ass diseases like the coronavirus and SARS,
by Bill Gates,
and Black Plague, and
right.
syphilis and typhoid and all kinds of, and H1Z1 and bird flus, right? And then we put this together, and like now the virus originated from Wuhan, where this lady trained, But forget that. Let's look at the response of the Chinese government and how fast they went. Like, shut the city down, put everybody on quarantine. There's only 3,000 cases, not that big of a deal. But we're canceling Chinese New Year, the biggest celebration of the Lunar New Year, whatever it is for China, the biggest celebration of their lives. Pretty much it happens every year, but the big celebration of the year, it's like a big deal. It's holidays, like they don't care about Christmas because they're crazy heathens. They don't give a damn about religion because they're communists, but they make amazing Nikes.
He's like, he jokes a lot, so just keep that in mind. He's not trying to be like mean or oh god, I'm having trouble with words tonight. He's not trying to be insensitive. He just jokes a lot. That's his channel because he's makes a gaming channel basically for younger kids and stuff like that, and just immature man babies like me. So he's just joking around, like he's not trying to be insensitive towards any kind of people in China.
Jews. And they shut things down. The government was so fast to react, because in my mind, I think what happened was it's something like this idiot here either doesn't know what they're doing, and accidentally leaked out the virus that they were working on, could be a biological warfare virus. I think either that someone they're letting it go on purpose, population control, we got too many idiots out here, we got to thin the herd, or that some idiot like her who works on biological weapons, on a high level, maybe not on biological weapons, but they just, somehow we're just making weird, bat soup, SARS and MERS party animals together.
David Irwin says, the year of the rat is canceled. Yeah, Honey Badger says, yeah, you said there's going to be a panel. Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to go through this video and then a little article, and then I'll open up a panel for you guys, and y'all can just come on and talk about, whatever you guys
want to talk about. We made the coronavirus a lot better than the Heineken virus, and somehow it got out, right? There have been leaks in the past from other biomedical labs in China, level 4. I believe they have 3 others there, and SARS had escaped from a couple of them in the past. They've had breaches of security and messed up. So maybe what happened was they have this biomedical weapon going on, and it gets out, and then they don't know what's going on. No one really knows. No one's gonna be like, oh, hey, by the way, I let the virus out. Hey, man, we're in China. Put me up against the wall and shoot me in the head. Like they usually do for people who make mistakes there. Communism, and they figured out what was happening, figured out the problem. We're like, oh my God.
Dude, okay, let me say something too, because I saw TC did a video on this recently, how YouTube puts up things that are going on in his life. Well, right now, I'm looking for a new used car, but I haven't really looked around. I checked out on the internet one site. I went to Carfax and just looked at some Toyota Corollas, some used Toyota Corollas. And on my YouTube at the top, I'm getting used car Jerry Lane and local, my YouTube advertisements will be for local car dealerships in the area, just all the time. So somehow either my attackers or YouTube, my attackers are reading my mind with remote neural monitoring, but maybe YouTube saw that I looked at Carfax one day and is now putting all these advertisements for used car lots and things like that, and financing used cars all over my computer. Every time I go on YouTube, every time I, well, I guess not Google, but banners on people's videos, like 8 Thoughts, I'll have the banner at the bottom that's personalized for me and what I'm looking for. It's scary stuff. It's really scary stuff. I guess it's convenient in some ways, because I am looking for a used car, but I can look for a used car. I don't need YouTube to read my mind. That's what TC was saying, that his TV's reading his mind. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, right? It's things that you're looking at on over the computer. But I think also sometimes our attackers do have connections to YouTube and Google, and they will, as part of our PSYOP protocol, they'll remote neural monitor or surveil what we're doing. I talked to my mom about getting a used car and stuff like that. And then they will have connections to where they can put those ads up to kind of be like, hey, we know what you're doing, to try and freak us out. I think it's that, because way back in 2013, that kind of stuff was happening on YouTube and on the internet, with stuff. I haven't had it on, well, there is no regular TV anymore. I just have streaming services. But I've heard some targeted individuals talk about it on normal cable. Commercials will come up that are very specific to them, or they'll even be harassed by some things, specific things interjected into that. And I know that's possible too.
It's gone crazy. Oh my God, this is actually the virus that we were working on. This is the, you know, the coronavirus, and holy God, yeah, it somehow got out. Xinjiang or someone like that.
Honey Badger says, Honey Badger says, yeah, it's called data mining. Yeah, that's true. And, you know, Google does that, YouTube does that for advertisements, just about what you're looking for on your computer. That is true. But I've experienced it where it's stuff that I haven't looked on the computer for anything, and my attackers know from remote neural monitoring, and they somehow have connections where they will make stuff show up on my Google banners on certain websites or banners on YouTube. And that does happen too. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm talking about like the bigger aspect of the neuro weapons attacks mixed in with psyops and things that they do to hack into our computers, and also hack into things that we're looking at like YouTube and Google. That is it's a definite fact. I mean, these psyops with the neuro weapons attacks and the experimentation get very in depth, and they have a lot of resources, and they have a lot of connections to these sites like Google, Facebook, and YouTube, because those corporations are just tightly connected to the military-industrial complex. So I'm, you know, I'm talking more about, like, I understand the data mining, but it goes deeper. It goes deeper with specific targeting, like with the remote neural monitoring and stuff. And I've just experienced throughout all the years that I've been remote neural monitored, how my attackers have some kind of connections where when I haven't even told anybody or looked up anything on the internet, I'll get advertisements on YouTube for what I was like thinking about. And that's a part of the whole intimidation, harassment. Oh, we know what you're thinking. Oh, you know, we're all powerful, we can do it. But it's just a little trick. It's just because they have a connection to those companies, right?
Maybe they put it together on purpose, and it got out, and that's why they flipped out and were like, we gotta shut everything down. We gotta shut everything down. It's gotta be shut.
Honey Badger said he heard the virus in China could wipe out their economy. Oh my God. Yeah, Line in the Land says, I've had advertisements on personal conversations. Yeah, exactly like that. I've had advertisements on just thoughts that I haven't even told anybody. Tiger Septum says, and before you guys go crazy, I mean cure for the virus. Hey, Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty says, Line and Land, that happens to me all the time. Yeah, God. Yeah, exactly. Honey Badger says, oh, I see, Kyle. I've had that too. They data mine our brainwaves. They eventually want to do it openly and with the consent of the people. Elon Musk, Neuralace. We are the test subjects for that. Yeah, I think we're the test subjects for a lot of stuff. And one of them is like the Neuralace stuff, but they want to make the human brain and the human nervous system basically connected to the Internet of Things, right? So that they can read our thoughts and then pull up advertisements on whatever you're looking at for what you're thinking, you know, and do a lot of other stuff in a neuro society, which seems at first like, wow, that'd be kind of cool to live in. But the problem is all the evil stuff, the complete control of free will and things like that. So they're going to say, oh, well, this is really convenient. You can, you know, the Google will know exactly what you want, and it can put, like, even today, like I had a YouTube, but this was like not based off of remote neural monitoring. I watched some videos on YouTube and stuff, music videos, and YouTube makes a playlist, and it says, you know, your playlist, and it's all these videos that I watch a lot, the music videos, and I was like, oh, that's awesome, that's very convenient. But it's like, really, it's kind of creepy. It's like, I'll just look up the videos. I don't need YouTube doing this. I don't need them compiling exactly the kind of music I like and then finding new music that's kind of like that. It's convenient, but it's creepy because you can see the other side of it as a targeted individual. You can see the control aspect on the other side of it. And it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool to have all the music that I liked, and I was like, oh, it's all on a playlist, my playlist. And I didn't have to do anything, you know? Yeah, James Stewart, look up Neuralace. Neuralace has come from a lot of this experimentation on targeted individuals.
Down, man, like, holy God, that virus is out, and that's why they went nuts and started building hospitals, and things look like it's going crazy over there, and they're, you know, trying to, chill out. They're like, oh, it's only 6,000 sick. Like, holy crap, dudes. Listen here, Ming Mao, Wee Wow. Jesus, we're a host here, dude. Shut everything down, dude. The virus is out. The killer virus is out. And then, you put all it together, the Chinese freaking, corporation, biological, biotechnology company and pharmaceutical conglomerate, looks like the Umbrella Corporation from freaking Resident Evil. And you put together with this broad here who was arrested, or, well, I don't arrest him, but under investigation for doing something wrong in our only level 4 lab in Canada, who had ties to the level 4 lab in Wuhan, China. She's trained in China, comes to Canada, and gets arrested. Her whole entire family and her trainees, or whatever lab assistants, get booted out. And then, 6 months later, all of a sudden in Wuhan, where she was trained from the stuff, this crazy deadly coronavirus is out, and the Chinese government right off the bat, like within days, flips out and shuts everything down, and the whole city comes to a stop. Which seems like an overreaction if you're going with how many people they say are sick. I mean, more people are supposed apparently. Here's my thing too, right? If you look at the numbers and the stats, if you go by what they say, 6,000 affected, 150 dead. The SARS was way more deadly than that, and the reaction wasn't nearly as heavy. And common flu kills people like that at the same rate. So and basically it's only old people and people with immune problems or their immune system is compromised are dying. So listen, man, that's why I've come to the conclusion that maybe perhaps this was some kind of crazy biological weapon that got out because of either leaked on purpose or these idiot doctors like this brought here. It seems weird. That's all. I thought I'd put this video out. People are really hot in this coronavirus thing. People like to talk about it, and I like to talk about it, so I figured I'd make a video on this theory that I had, that this is what happened, man. Biological weapon was coronavirus. Someone messed up. That's my opinion. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new here, subscribe. Make sure to smash that like button. Get the word out. Thanks for watching. I'm outro. I make thoughts. Don't be cool. Stay in school. Stay on drugs. And live both ways from across the street. Last but not least, and most importantly, my friends, stay black. You want the fucking cracker to change every building, movie stars, spring chemtrails. Now living was a job, school, try some of the bullshit. I was a flat mix, big. I was over the hills, for the fogs, being white. Bring it down. All right. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys. So this guy's channel is called. But let me show it again. Hold on. I really recommend anybody who likes gaming. He's just really funny. He's been through a lot of stuff, and pretty good guy. He does the sheep thing. He's a good guy, but he does kind of he uses YouTube to just get views, and he does a lot of stuff on Modern Warfare. It's 8 Thoughts. He's pretty funny. Okay, so let me go through this article real fast, and then we'll open up a panel. And we can talk about the coronavirus or just targeting in general. Okay, so here it is. So could the deadly coronavirus actually be a man-made killer disease? There's evidence suggesting that the Wuhan coronavirus did not originate in a fish market. Fingers point to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And the author is William Ebbs. This is from CCN. And it was from January 28th, so 2 days ago. The coronavirus, provisionally known as NCOV-2019, is behind the unprecedented lockdown of over 50 million people in China, and human activity may have set it loose. So the Wuhan Institute of Virology has been studying coronavirus since at least 2016. A growing body of evidence suggests the Wuhan coronavirus may have leaked from the institute. If true, this would not be the first time a deadly virus is leaked from a Chinese research institute. 2016 documents show that the Wuhan Institute of Virology, an organization increasingly suspected of being linked to the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak, has been studying the virus over the last several years. This comes as a growing body of evidence suggests the disease did not originate in a seafood wet market as the Chinese government claims. If the unconfirmed reports are true, it would not be the first time a deadly disease has escaped from a Chinese research facility. In March 2004, 9 people became infected with 1 fatality after the deadly SARS virus escaped from the National Institute of Virology in Beijing, China. The current coronavirus outbreak may have a similar origin. This is the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The infected could be far more than the government's official numbers. According to the reports from the South China Morning Post, Hong Kong's newspaper of record, the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak may be monumentally more severe than the government is admitting. Academics from the University of Hong Kong now estimate that the number of infected in Wuhan has reached 43,590, a staggering 1,456% higher than the official figure, which stands at 2,800. And you know that what they're officially saying is a lot higher at this point. I think it's like 6,000 to 10,000 or something like that. But if that's wrong, you got to say what if, and it was really 40 is like, or 45,000. How much has that increased by this time? If it's in every province in China, right? It could be hundreds of thousands. So a data-driven mathematical model from HKU Academics predicts the number of infections of the Wuhan coronavirus could see 150,000 new cases every day in Chinese megacity of Chongqing alone between late April and early May. The Chinese government continues to claim that only 2,800 people are infected, but their actions suggest even they don't believe this figure. Authorities have allocated a record-breaking $9 billion in funding to combat the coronavirus outbreak. They have also quarantined entire cities with a total population of over 60 million. This is in addition to erecting several brand new 1,000 bed hospitals from scratch. These don't look like the actions of a government that believes only 2,800 people are infected. So they're building 2 new hospitals in Wuhan. They're like bringing out a bunch of trucks and building up these hospitals as fast as possible. So yeah, and nobody really believes those numbers. Nobody really believes the low like 6,000 numbers that they're saying. Wuhan seafood market may not be the origin of the virus. According to data published in the Lancet Medical Journal, 13 of the 41 initial cases of Wuhan coronavirus had no link to the seafood market purported to be the origin of the disease. If you ask Daniel Lucy, an infectious disease specialist at Georgetown University, that number is too big to ignore. He states the following: no epidemiological link was found between the first patient and later cases. Their data also show that in total, 13 of the 41 cases had no link to the marketplace. That's a big number, 13 with no link. He goes on to add the virus came into the marketplace before it came out of that marketplace. China must have realized the epidemic did not originate in the Wuhan, Huanan seafood market. Did the virus leak from the Wuhan Institute of Virology? Unconfirmed reports suggest the Wuhan Institute of Virology may be a possible source of the deadly virus outbreak. If the Wuhan coronavirus leaked from the institute, it would not be the first time such a breach has occurred in China. In 2004, 5 top officials from the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention were punished for a SARS outbreak that occurred due to a leak in their facility. The leak occurred at the Beijing Institute of Virology, where researchers were conducting live and inactive SARS coronavirus experiments. 2 workers became infected with SARS and later spread the disease to others. I would just think like before people went out of those like institutes, there would be just a lot of protocols to where they could not be released if there was any chance they got any infection on them. I would, my suspicious brain, because of this targeting and because of all the just experimentation and torture and just, hey, we're trying this stuff out, is that this was done on purpose, but I guess it'd be hard to believe that China would do this to themselves, right? The Chinese military industrial complex would just start murdering their own people and hurt their own economy. So maybe another country did this to China, sent somebody in. I don't know. That's a theory. SARS originally emerged in 2002 before spreading to infect 8,000 people around the globe. The virus killed 800 people. And I'm not sure how many people the coronavirus has killed yet. I don't think we have those numbers. I think it's like they're saying it's like maybe a couple of hundred or something like that. Maybe somebody else knows that number. Hey, Erica. Erica Nario says, hi all, Honey Badger. I've had Facebook market ads to me for conversations I was having with our dog for dog shampoo, and YouTube had ads for a service I mentioned to my sis in a 2-hour combo. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, something like a couple hundred. Yeah, PA says I heard that too, Kyle. Tansy says, I'm taking advantage of everyone freaking out about this virus and wearing a mask while driving. Nice to have to breathe their crap while they douse me with it. Yeah, nice to not have to breathe their crap while they're dousing me. Yeah, that's a good idea. You can wear a mask all the time. A lot of people in in China wear masks all the time, even when there's no outbreaks. Yeah. Tiber Septum says, Tansy, just drive carefully, please. Hey, Future Knowledge. I was just talking about how great your channel is, man. I've been watching a lot of your videos, and it's good to see you go through information and just kind of think this stuff out. And so kind of it's very you go through it very logically, and it kind of keeps me calm while I'm listening to information about this. So. Erica Nario says, how do you cover your microphone on your phone? I cover the camera, but I can't cover the microphone on my phone. I guess you could just put some tape or something over the microphone portion, but I think there's something inside the phone. Like there's a microphone that we use for like apps and stuff like that, but then there's like another microphone in it, and there might even be another camera behind the glass of the phone, right? So they're putting cameras and microphones where you can't even get to it in the phone, and it's just for these agencies to use, Tansy says, I'm the only careful one on the road, LOL. Probably not a good idea to drive too close to me. Barefoot Sungazer says, how is that hard to believe? That's what they're doing to us in our country. I think people in China are getting targeted too. Why would it be hard to believe that they are murdering their own people? No. I mean, yeah, they're experimenting on their own people, but this virus affecting people and killing people in every province in China is hurting their economy. Like it's hurting the economy of China. So it seems like these bigger countries, they want to experiment and kill their people, but they want the economy to stay stable, right? So in America, like we're being killed off, we're being tortured by neuroweapons, but all the regular people aren't frightened and scared and staying in their homes. They're going about it as normal, right? So it's not hard to believe that they're killing people, but the way that they do it, they want to keep their economy running, right? So I don't know. I don't know if you were talking to me. I don't know if you were talking to me, Barefoot Sungazer. Okay. Well, why don't y'all come on and talk? Eric Canario says, yes, Kyle, I heard that about hidden cameras on cell phones, even laptops that manufacturers don't disclose. Yeah. And I think in smart televisions too. Jeanette, you're going? Good night, Jeanette. Stay strong. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and open up the panel and we'll just hang out. I did have something else. I'll just save it, or maybe if not a lot of people want to come on, we can go through that. We'll just see. People can come on and talk about whatever you want. We'll just hang out for a while. It's like 1:30, so I'm thinking like probably I want to close it down by about 4, maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. We'll just see. We'll see. We'll just open it up and everybody can just come on. Let me get my headphones on because I can't hear y'all without my headphones. Yeah. Barefoot Senator says totally, call those phones are spy devices for sure. High-tech spy devices that we knowingly keep with us all the time. Yeah. we carry around our own implants basically. And it's more, they're not just satisfied with our iPhones that we have. Now people are buying these wireless earbuds and things like that. Then we've got, the nanotechnology that we're breathing in. And then you got Morgellons type stuff, heavy metals mixed with funguses. It's just many, many layers of backup systems of catalysts where they can surveil us and surveil inside of our mind and our body. And it's just happening. It's just a fact of what's going on in society. Yeah, Honey Badger, come on, man. All right, Tansy. Tansy says, be right back. Got to get my fur babies their new toys. Oh. Yeah, Judy Gray says they do it quietly and cover it up. I cover, let's see, the things that I cover up with tape. I cover up my computer camera. I cover up my tablet camera. I cover up my both phone cameras on there. And then, but I probably have a camera in my smart television they can look through. But then they've also got through the wall radar where they're probably seeing a not color picture of me. And then they have stuff like ultrasound, which they can see inside of my body. So I don't know. I get to a point where it's just like, I can't compensate for every way that they could listen to me or see me. And I try and just kind of take care of what I can. I think it's a good idea though to cover up the cameras that you do know about, because they take, they'll take all these different sources of surveillance to get a better 3D picture of you, to be able to target you better. Hey, Tiberius, Tiber Septum, how you doing, man? Let me get my headphones on. Let me get my headphones on real quick. Oh, crap.
It's been a while since I've been here. There we go.
You there, man?
Hey, Kyle. Hey, man. Yo, you probably don't recognize me, but I'm good old Dragon Lord with a different name.
Hey, Dragon Lord, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. You?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just hanging in there.
Yeah, just make sure the virus doesn't get you, hey?
Yeah. I'm hoping not to get that. I don't think it's going to come to where I am. I don't think it's going to probably come to Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
All right.
But it kind of goes into all this, weapons testing. Was it weapons testing? Was it maybe not China, but maybe an enemy of China that released it on China to hurt their economy or something like that? Was it maybe Russia, or was it maybe the United States? I don't know. There's a lot of questions there, because how does a virus get out to every?
I can see that, but I wouldn't see it as a country state. I'll see it more as a corporation type of thing. Because states can get a lot of this, but countries prefer physical war, because you can grab other people into that, fight for your country type of thing. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it'd be a corporation thing, because they'll gain a lot out of that, especially if a virus gets out, you can get a cure, and a lot of people are going to be paying for that, especially in China. I don't know myself, but that's how I see it. Maybe I'm wrong as well. Like you said, there's many questions to ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good theory.
Yeah. But what I can see you can gain out of this company, I can see the massive damages. Massive damages by doing this, and I really can see that, viruses suck. We all know that. You just being sick from getting a flu sucks. But in the end, it's just a cure, man. That's the biggest one. Cancer is one of them, and everybody wants to get a cure for that, and that makes it lots of money. Especially when somebody first discovers cancer, the best thing you gotta do is get rid of it when you have the money.
Yeah,
it's just that's how I see it. Especially when you look at the cancer side of things, it's still like a virus, just a different way.
Cancer is a virus, right?
It is a deformed cell, apparently, from what I was learning.
Because I read this thing, I can't remember her name, but she was Lee Harvey Oswald's love interest, and she worked at Ochsner and some other. I think at Ochsner they were mixing together cancerous tumors and stuff like that, and they were going to inject it into Fidel Castro, and then they were going to grow it with like they would have X-rays and stuff to make it grow inside of him. And she was saying that it's actually a virus, but maybe it's maybe it's a mixture of, it's just the cells getting damaged and then growing. Maybe
Yeah, I can actually see that, like mixing cancer, which is like damaged cell, and a virus which is spread, and if you add the two, like who knows how many cures there are. Am I talking when he's talking? Oh, I didn't know that. I honestly didn't. I thought, Tansy just said to me, like I'm talking when you're talking. I didn't notice that. It sounds like when you finish talking, I start talking. Like
no, you're
I didn't
good.
recognize that.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
Hello, Badger.
Hey, what's up, Tiber?
I'm doing good, you man. I like the hair, nice and slick.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I found a good barber actually. That's one of the things that I've had actually trouble with. I don't know if they're like perps or just under mind control or demon possessed barbers or what, but I've had a hard time finding a good barber over the years. There was this one review I left on Google. I was just talking with the Truth Scene about this today, because Truth Scene uploaded this video where they basically did a really shoddy job on his truck bed liner. And I told him to start leaving bad reviews on like Google Maps and stuff, because they'll probably change up their tactics. And I did that with a barber, man. I told her to leave it at like 1 3/4 inches and then really short up to here. And she cut it down to like 1 inch. And then like the bangs were literally like up here on one side and down here on the other side. And I took a picture and uploaded it to Google reviews on their Google Maps. And yeah, I found. You
don't like the sides? You don't like how the sides are shaved or something?
No, the bangs, man. It was like it was cut like super crooked. Like one side was way up here and one side was like way down there. It was like really bad.
Uneven. Mm-hmm.
At least you get to fit in with the crazies, at least.
Yeah.
You fit right in, brother. You fit right in.
Yeah, so how's everybody doing?
Hanging in there.
True. How are people going? Because I wouldn't mind seeing live streams, but apparently Zoom's like, I better kick you out when you do that. So I can't really look even if I wanted to. Sucks.
Mm-hmm.
However, I got one person who can help me with that one.
Wait, you want to do live streams, Type or something?
Me, yeah. You must have saw that comment in the chat. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing like 2 channels. One that's based on a platform where anybody can speak at their mind, no matter who you are. Like just see other people's opinions and insights, and how they think and how they communicate, and just an actual big platform for whatever you want. And also looking into the stuff that you look into, Carl. Research into the defense facilities, Department of Defenses, DARPA, HARP, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun global neuroweapons torture. That's
basically,
yeah.
But I wouldn't mind like seeing other people's opinions. Like, I understand that neuroweapons are really, really bad, and I really do. But I wouldn't mind. How much?
It's delayed.
Apparently, when I'm talking, because apparently things are being delayed, people might think I'm talking over you because there's a delay.
No,
talking.
You're good. You're good. You
got a delay over on your end, or?
I can't tell, to be honest. I thought I was like stopping when you're talking. It's stalking almost.
Yeah, I'm getting that too. You're stopping when I'm stopping, or you're talking when I'm stopping.
Hang on, Tansy. What's the chat talking about? Because I want to make sure I'm not, confusing anybody or being rude. Because I couldn't tell.
You're not. Honest. You're not, brother. You're not. Don't worry about it. Oh, Nex is doing a live stream.
Confused.
Oh,
Hey, BRB,
people
man.
are saying Nex is doing a live stream.
What the hell?
So I guess he started up a live stream too or something.
Are you getting like a feedback? Are you listening to the YouTube video at the same time that you're on the Zoom?
I don't think he is, because I'd be hearing it. We would be hearing that feedback too, Badger.
Mm.
I don't think so. I think he's fine. I think maybe Tansy's just being cautious.
Sorry about that. Apparently, because she's right next to me, it might be echoing the mic. So it sounds like it might be basically me interrupting you, like a time pause between talks.
I'm not noticing it. So
I'm not noticing it either, man. I just asked the chat what's going on, because I don't want people, having the same problem just in case. Because I don't want like people to go like, what's going on? Everybody's talking over each other, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So no misconfusion, hopefully.
No, there's no confusion.
Oh, I know that on that end. Like to us, we sound like we're talking pretty normally, but I'm not too sure in the chat. Like I couldn't even see it if I wanted to. I'll give it a try, but if I hang up, I'll just come back. That's it. All right.
I'm gonna put the. Go ahead, man.
Oh, sorry. I was just talking to myself there. I talk a bit loudly to myself sometimes. Sorry about that.
So Badger, how are your turkeys, man?
Turkeys are good, dude.
They're good?
Yeah, I was supposed to butcher them like a month ago, but I haven't forced myself to do it.
Oh man, that's hard to raise turkeys, and then you gotta like kill them. Oh
yeah.
Man.
It's like one of the things that I set out to do actually is, because it makes you appreciate the sacrifice that an animal makes. We're so disconnected from our food. We just see chicken as something you buy at the store, but that was a living being, at one time. And so
sounds like you're a vegan, man. Oh, sorry.
Well, no, I eat plenty of meat, and I raised these turkeys to butcher them.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Like in the end, like it's all sad, like killing a cow for just its meat. It keeps us alive, but we kill them. It's sad, but that's just the circle of life.
Yeah.
Like especially in the wild, where an animal would like say let's use a Komodo dragon. That thing will eat anything except guts for some reason, and how it just eats to survive. It's sad, but in the end, it's just.
Yeah, I've killed wild animals before and eaten them, but it's just kind of different when you raise something,
Have you killed a badger?
No badgers, man. I haven't even seen a wild badger.
Yeah, I think they're an African creature actually, and they are Indian type, like Himalayans.
Yeah, they're all over the world. They're in
really. I didn't see them in
Asia,
Australia,
Europe,
though.
Africa, North America.
Oh, you guys just get the fun animals. We just get snakes, spiders, and whatever else wants to kill you, including lava plants, apparently.
Oh, you're over in Australia?
Yeah, man, I'm an Aussie.
Cool.
Aussies are awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, mate.
So is my accent weird to you? Does it sound kind of
No, man, your accent's fine. If anything, it's a nice change to not hear constant Aussies, Nice to hear an American here and there.
Oh, I love y'all's accents. So very smart sounding people in Australia,
Oh yeah, definitely, especially around north Brisbane and around Brisbane, Queensland. There's a lot of smart people around there, but more further south you go, like around Sydney or New South Wales, Victoria or Melbourne, people just seem to change and get more and more arrogant. It's weird. Like any country or any country in the world to have that problem. I see that, but it just sucks, especially when like Queensland is like much more nicer. Like people are a bit more nicer to you, even if they're like your perps or your, ass behind your back. Mm-hmm. But they do like professionalized stuff in front of you, like with customer service. Like that's really nice. They do things properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Still
like
suck what
very.
they do, but they have
Yeah.
that professional skill.
Mhm.
But yeah. But Logan, like that's one part of South. Like I haven't fully went south, but that part specifically is horrible. Like nobody has professional skills. We found only one person who does, and they live in Sunnybank. But yeah, seems like south. The further south you go, especially in suburbs, the worse it gets. Until I don't know, next part might get nicer. Who knows?
Yeah,
But yeah,
like I heard, like Andy V is a target individual that lives in Australia. He must have lived in a very bad part because he was getting attacked by like gangs all the time and stuff like that. It seems
well,
like,
it's hard to say. Like, what part of Australia did he say he was from?
I don't know. I forget, but he said there was a lot of gang activity. And he said because you guys don't have guns, the gang members would like use knives and bats and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can't carry really knives, bats, any weapons of a sort that can harm. Even your own kitchen fork you can't bring, or you got to get arrested because you got a dangerous weapon. I think someone got in trouble for a spoon.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they ended up making a joke like, "Oh, they feel I was going to do a spoonie on them."
Just spoon his eyeballs out. Yeah.
basically. But in our term, spoonie basically means it relates to the anal. I'd say that much.
Oh.
Spoonie.
Oh. Okay. Oh, some bossy slang there.
Yeah. So when you hear spoonie, anticipate the erectum.
Oh my God, stop!
I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine.
Oh no, I'm just putting the tansy.
I'm kind of curious, because not a lot of people in America know about it. Do people over there in Australia and New Zealand and stuff, do they know that you guys are still part of the British Empire? Or?
Oh yeah, we know. We literally have the Queen's face on our $5 bill.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely know.
That's something that we don't learn in America. I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was telling him about how Canada is still part of the British Empire, and I sent him the video of Justin Trudeau at a swearing-in ceremony. Kind of like our president does, where he puts his hand on the Masonic Bible and says, "I solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution," and all this. Well, the Canadian version, Justin Trudeau, he's like, "I solemnly swear that I will be a faithful and loyal servant to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II."
Really?
And he was blown away by that, because in America they don't teach us that.
Yeah, we don't.
No, you guys wouldn't.
Yeah.
We're told
You guys
that
think American is like a language instead of being English.
Yeah,
That's
we're told
funny.
that the British Empire is a museum piece, and it's really not. Especially when you learn that it's the London banking syndicate that owns our Federal Reserve.
That's interesting.
What about the Rothschilds?
The Rothschilds, yeah, they're part of that London banking syndicate.
Okay.
They're at the,
Well,
the
they're
head of
actually
it.
surprisingly losing that power, especially on the news, where the banks, especially in Brexit, I think Brexit around England, France. I know Russia's already got rid of it, and I think I can't recall the other countries, but I only recall the few I just said that are trying to get either rid of the Rothschilds bank or already have gotten rid of it. Like Russia, how they had that bank and they just got rid of it. Now, like I think England is trying to do the same thing because they're trying to separate themselves from the world now, especially with the Brexit incident.
Well, you ever heard of the block of countries proposed by Winston Churchill called Kanzuk? Hey, what's up, Tansy?
Oh God, I know Churchill back in World War II, but I don't recall that part.
I had tape over my camera, and I'm like, "Why is the camera not working?" I had tape on there. Go take my tape off.
Yeah. Me
Oh,
too.
I see what your problem was. No, that's only hearing through the headphones. It's not actually through the mic itself.
Is it just an echo coming through your headphones or something like that? It's fine on our end. Like I can.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
like
bit-
that's the thing. Like when I'm talking, I can hear it on my end through my ears. Like through my ears, yeah, of course it's through my ears. No, but through my headphones instead of through the mic. So when she talks, I can hear it through both outside of the mic and inside the headphones and outside the headphones. It's not speaking over.
Yeah, I've got a lag on my end. It's just my phone. I don't know why.
Well, how are you doing, Tansy? How are you doing, warrior woman? You getting through this stuff?
Warrior woman.
I'm actually doing a lot better thanks to Tomahawk. You guys know Tomahawk?
Oh, Tomahawk, yeah.
Yeah. In the last live that you did, he left a comment about covering your belly button. And it really works. Like right now, I have fabric tape on my belly button. I've been wearing it like out shopping all day, all night. And it stops like the vibrations. You don't feel like the waves of energy and stuff. And when you take it off, like when I took it off to have a shower last night, I actually nearly passed out from like the waves just going straight through me.
Does it affect the external hits too? Like if you're getting external heat on your body? I gotta try that.
Well, my hits are mostly my top of my head here. Like they try to like have a constant stream on my head.
Yeah, mine do too. Like right now, I can feel it right in the back, right here.
That's a day of a time.
It even helps with that. Like they're able to get like little pops now, but they can't keep that like constant stream on there. And when they do the forced speech, right, I've noticed this is what happens to me. They like lock that beam on my head and then they hammer my forehead, like literally like this, like hammer, hammer, hammer. And then there's a pressure on the ridge of my nose. And then they'll start putting pressure on my right shoulder, like with energy. And when I go to speak, like I'll be like jolted forward and it'll be unnaturally like higher than my usual tone. And, you know, I'll say something that obviously I wasn't going to say. So, and that stopped as well. Usually like they hit my lower back, it stopped that as well. But if you do it, right, remember to shave around your belly button because it really hurts taking the tape off.
To take the tape off, you're ripping off hair.
Yeah, even the fine hair is like, ah. But yeah.
Is it right? Is it right above or right below the belly button?
Right on top of the belly button. Like you've got to have your belly button closed, like covered, sorry.
So just regular tape, just like a regular clear tape, or you're using what kind of tape?
I wouldn't use clear tape. I would use something a bit more hardier.
Like tape?
Like I'm using fabric tape. Do you guys know what fabric tape is?
Yeah. Just, I mean, a tape with fabric on the top of it, kind of. So.
No.
Isn't it medical tape?
No. It's like a molded version of duct tape. So it's like it's weatherproof and all of that. You can use it to repair tarps and stuff. I'll just see if I've got some on hand. Where is it?
Dude, I'm gonna have to try that. I'm covering the. I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that because like there's parts in the Bible that talk about like the belly, you know, like from his belly will come streams of living water, and a lot of people say the soul, your soul is actually in the belly. And there's been scientific research in the past few years that they discovered that your belly, your intestinal tract, has just as many billions of neurons as your brain. And they're saying it's like a second brain.
Yeah, when you're growing in the womb, what forms your brain and what forms your intestines is like the same clump of nerves. So those two things separate. The brain and
well, all fairness, when you start, what's the first thing you got to recognize?
It takes about like 10 minutes for your body to like fully settle and to feel good. Like I think because we're so used to like the energy waves, even though they still hurt us and all that's a part of our everyday life now. So like you feel a bit weird at first, but then once you settle, you feel good. You feel really good. Like I've got a really deep inner belly button, so I had to do like 4 pieces of tape to make it flat. Yeah, but as I was doing it, like I could see the pulses, and it was pushing in the middle part of the tape.
Really?
So it wasn't until it wasn't until I got to the fourth piece of tape that it actually went flat.
So that's funny you mentioned that. I haven't really told many people about this, but I guess I will. I had something really devastating happen to me this summer. For those that know me, they know that I graduated college last May and I moved down to Texas to start a landscaping company because it's just what I'm passionate about. And I got my little business degree and everything. And my first job this summer, I was so stoked, right? I got a $4,000 job and I did it and completed it, did a great job. And like a week later, I get this hernia right above my belly button and it took me out and I had to do a career change. And it was really like, it killed my dream. And I'm afraid to go to a doctor and get a surgery because I've been perked by so many doctors. A lot of stories there, and it's right above my belly button.
Wow. Can you feel it getting hit or anything like that? Like, does it ever change? The hernia?
It hurts sometimes.
Do they target it?
I don't know. I mean, if there's directed energy being aimed at that area, that would explain it. Because I mean, the timing of everything was just so weird. I've always done physical labor. You know, I used to weight lift and do like deadlifts and squats and everything. Never had any problem. And I didn't really even work that hard on this landscaping job. And then, you know, I come down here and I'm so stoked. You know, every time my life is at like a peak and I'm like in this doing really well, something always happens. Like when I broke my leg at work in 2015 or when my mom died in 2014, something always happens when I'm doing really good in life. And this hernia, the timing of everything was just really weird because also when I moved here, I started to get hit pretty hard in ways that I hadn't really been hit before. And I don't know if it's the smart meter or what it is, but
could be the smart meter everybody complains about when they get it. Things get
I know
worse.
this is a very weird thing to say, but I've also not as far in, but I have researched about hernias and I have heard how hernias usually occur. And it's weird to say this, but usually I don't know the best word for it, but I say natural for now, is usually how you take a dump. I wish I was joking.
Oh, yeah, you were thinking of anal. Yeah, too much straining.
No, like, I know what you mean. Hernia is like around like the gut area, but surely you guys have heard of the... I do not know this called.
I'm doing it. I'll try anything. But
a
lot
why not?
Wait, so it's just a piece of tape, or do you have to tape a magnet there? Sorry to interrupt you, Tyler.
Can you guys see the comment? Yvette C did the magnet. I haven't done the magnet yet, but I want to.
So it's just a piece of tape?
Yeah. Just tape.
Hold on.
But don't do clear tape. Like, do a hardy tape. Do electrical or fabric.
Now, but why would this work? Can we figure out why this would work? Did Tomahawk say a reason? Tomahawk, he's trying the ZVS driver and stuff. I just wonder why it would work.
No, he actually left quite a brief message about it. He just said that actually what he said was when you lie down to go to sleep to do it, to cover your belly button with something to stop like the vibrations and that while you're trying to sleep.
Okay.
So, but I thought, I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
You know, I'll cover it up right now, tape. I want to see what's going to happen. And oh my goodness, yeah, I wear it nonstop. And you know, have you guys heard about, I don't know what that grass is called. There's some type of grass and it's magnetic.
A magnetic grass, you're saying?
Yeah, there's something that's magnetic, right? I can't remember what it's called. Far out, I don't know. But how's this for weird? Hang on, I'll show you this thing.
Talking about magnetic, I learned something really weird a few nights ago.
Oh, that's nice. So it's like a little magnetic bracelet on the leg?
Yeah, it's like a little, you can wear it anywhere. Like, yeah, I'll take it off so you can see. Anyway,
I got a little thing I need to say real quick. Sorry, Tanzania, I need to say it's something I learned.
That's a great idea.
You can make this yourself. You can make it yourself.
Do you know your hair?
Tansy, try it on your left leg. Try it on your left leg.
Yeah.
Because like I wear the grounding on my left leg. If it slides off during the night, I will get fibromyalgia pain and stuff like that. As long as I have it on, it stops a
Yeah.
lot of the vagus nerve pain. So like a magnet, like what you have, I'm gonna try that on my left leg and see if that works. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and you can just make it yourself. Just get like some beads and some magnets, obviously of holes in both ends, and some fishing line, and you can make it yourself. You can make it whatever size you want. You can wear it like tight around your neck, so you've got something for your neck as well.
Cool.
I just put it on this ankle because I've got a large vagus vein there, so I just wanted to see what it would do, and my veins like practically disappeared. It'll probably come back up, but I will go the left leg next time. But here's something really trippy, right? I was mowing the lawn yesterday, and I had that on my leg, and I was wearing thongs, right? Now this is really trippy. I don't understand what happened, but no grass went on my feet or my legs, and I didn't use a catcher.
That's cool. So it's just keeping everything.
Yeah, there must be something magnetic, or is it something that they're dropping down on us? Like the magnets repel the grass.
It's
away
almost like
from
your
it.
hair, though.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say. Your hair is actually magnetic. At least I know my hair is. But if you put your arm hairs next to your other arm hairs, and don't touch, but just go near it, your arm hairs will follow the other arm hairs when you move your arm around. It's trippy. And when it sticks on there. Like, not, of course, really hard, like glue, but I mean, like, it will stick on there, like, say, I don't know, non-magnetic hair, maybe?
Yeah. Well, I think we have a lot of heavy metals, like in our
chemtrails,
environments. Yeah. And I think it gets on our skin. We breathe it in. You know, these heavy metals are connecting with like a type of fungus, like the Morgellons fungus. Like I was thinking about it today. Like, you know, we talk about like, okay, non-consensual implants, nanotechnology, then there's Morgellons. And I just think there's all these kinds of different redundant systems of catalysts.
Your hair is not magnetic. It holds a static charge.
Yeah.
With the on your hair. But can I ask y'all something? Can I ask you guys something? So if we had none of that inside of us, nothing, no nanotechnology, no Morgellons, no heavy metals, no non-consensual implants, do you think that our attackers could still hit us? What do you all think?
I don't know. I think they need the combination of things. Because when I remove a lot of chemicals, they can't hit me. So just removing that one thing stops it. So, yeah, I think they need the whole
well, see, what I was
buffet
thinking,
of what they've got going on. Maybe, I don't think they need the chips, though. I feel as though that's old tech.
Oh, now I wonder why.
Do you want to see something? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
I was going to say, do you want to see something funny? Last time I was on here, right, I got attacked really heavily from the ceiling, so I covered it up. Can you see it?
What is that?
Aluminum.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's not aluminum. Oh, I need a torch.
So that's like your safe room.
No, this is my lounge room.
That's awesome.
But this is hang on, I'll get a torch and you might be able to see. It's actually a galaxy.
The Cosmo. Oh, you mean the vinyl stuff?
Yeah. Can you see it now?
What is it? Is that like
No need for implants. It's a narrow beam of sterile light constellation in orbit before microwave.
Yeah, it's book cover.
Bundograph?
Can't know.
You know how like you cover your books for school?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's actually like in a galaxy, and I've got like lights and all that to put up through it, but it's like stopped the hits from in there now, from the ceiling, because I was getting hit hard. I was struggling last time. I could barely put two words together. But yeah, it's like $3 for 2 meters.
That's awesome.
I must say the chat has some interesting things to say. Like I'm reading it now, and they got some very interesting things, especially deep forts, my man, or deep fort.
What's that? What's that, Tiber something?
He's talking about the live chat.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the live chat, and five things being no need for implants. It's a narrow beam through sterile lights, constellation in orbit. Look up the microwave tomography.
Well, this is
Interesting. I never heard demographic.
Demographic?
this is what I've
Guess so.
learned. I've learned that we have, our body has a natural biofrequency and our brain has a natural biofrequency, but I don't know if they can just naturally tap into that without the catalyst. So you have the nanotechnology or non-consensual implant. They tap into your system with that. They get your unique brainwave frequency. Then they don't need any of that stuff. But I'm just not sure if you didn't have any of that, any of the catalysts, if they could just hook into your unique brainwave signature or your biosignature. Because I've heard a lot of stuff about the NSA just being able to, if you're talking to somebody, say you're a targeted individual and you're talking to somebody, they can immediately tap into their unique brainwave signature and start remote neural monitoring them, like a cell phone, And I
No, I actually
wonder.
have heard of that. It's like a public news type of thing.
Wow.
At least I heard something very basic.
And you think about the biofilm they have to have on us as well.
Yeah, many layers of catalysts and stuff like that. That's why the cleansing is so good.
Isn't the bio materials that they use on us is supposed to be more of a, what's the right word? Better kind of like a magnetic field where it's better to do more of experiments of that type, because the bio fluid or whatever, any type they use is much more conductive and much more useful, because for that they made it for that certain purpose. Anybody in the chat can remind me of what they mean, but that's for what I've heard on public forums and official sites, and that's what only I recall. Yeah,
and also we got to remember this. If you watch the guy A Simulated Reality, which I really recommend his channel, A Simulated Reality. Everybody sub and go watch his videos. Give him a thumbs up. He had one video where he was saying that the brain has magnetite. It's like a natural substance, magnetite, that electromagnetic frequencies.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so we have natural things. No, you're fine, dude.
Yeah.
You're fine. You're good.
But I know what you mean. I heard that the heart has the same thing, similar, and I think they actually produce more. I think, I'm not too sure, but I heard that the heart has a very similar thing to the brain, and I think a bit more so in some regards. I'm not too sure, but I have heard something like that. It's hard to tell.
Well, let's see. True Serum. No, strong-minded individual is saying, I don't think so. The chips are the main thing. The RFID chip is a GPS tracker, which is how they are able to see us coming and going. Yeah, I mean, I think
how does Nano assemble and do all that work now?
Yeah, it can. But I think is that the non-consensual implants are an older technology, but they don't necessarily stop doing it. They just keep doing that too, and they add all these.
Well, it's like an improver.
It's like a good backup. Why would they not do it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard for them to do. They can just come in and at night while you're asleep, you won't even know what happened.
Or, I was talking to Dr. Hoffer and I said, do some doctors non-consensually implant targets and not know that they're going to be hit by microwaves? And he was nodding his head. He nodded his head on a couple of things that I said, I was getting it right. He knows a lot about this. Dr. Hoffer was he was in the Navy. He was a Navy captain. And then he looked at the Cuban embassy workers because he's a specialist in concussions. So he understands that all these citizens, at least in America, are being experimented on.
Yeah.
I could see that. Oh my God, that echo is horrible.
I know.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But I can see how that'll work. Yeah. I can also see it as if they wanted to, which they will, as a marketing strat or economy strat. Because you can make money out of this stuff, and especially if you say, hey, nanos are really good for this and that, especially for health, people are going to go, hell yes, take my money, because the government said so, so it must be good type of attitude. It's not a good attitude to have, but it's a common attitude that they have. So it's never a good thing.
Well, and I think they're also the consumer markets are building up for defensive things, for defenses against electromagnetic frequencies. So it's they're playing both sides. They're playing the
Yeah.
side of attacking citizens, experimenting on them, and then we buy stuff like this new company, 5G BioShield. It's putting out like this USB thing and then another thing to make basically a field around you to protect you from 5G. So it's like they're just making money on both sides.
Yeah, I can see that working actually. Yeah, I can understand what you mean. That's a really good product design, especially when people end up like now everybody's starting to know about the GSs, microwave new weapons. Everybody's starting to know the things that we never would have knew about, I don't know, 13 or 14 years ago. And that's of course a really good thing now.
And look at the Rothschilds. They've been funding all sides of war for hundreds of years. At least
exactly.
Did you guys see that video Dana Ashley put out about the nanotech and everything?
Yeah.
Nope.
I haven't. The one where she was talking to the scientist about the Morgellons. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and this actually verifies what, if you guys remember, Look Out for Charlie. Look Out for Charlie was talking about this years ago.
Right.
And Dana Ashley verified it. So if anybody, I hear some people in the chat asking about some things we can do to maybe detox and get some of these heavy metals out. This right here, I use this in my laundry. I use a natural laundry soap. It's 1 cup of borax, 1 cup of washing soda, and a ground up bar of natural soap. But that's a side note. But you can actually use this.
Epsom salt.
Yeah, Epsom salt too.
You can use this. Yeah. You can use this orally. You can. What Dana Ashley recommended is taking a very, very small pinch and putting a little bit in like a coffee or something and just drinking that. And it's actually FDA approved. It's not some crackpot conspiracy theorist kind of thing. FDA approves you to eat so much of this every day, and it's the boron in borax. It's a naturally occurring mineral called I forget what it doesn't say.
Boron. Jeez. It's boron. Because I take boron and I take baths in borax, and you can actually drink a little bit of borax every day. So Brian 2, let's see what Brian 2 is saying in chat. Hey Brian. Brian's saying situational scenarios and conversational scenarios, it disrupts their technology. You do not understand the technology. Get off the calls and the chat rooms. Then he says, these are cyber stalkers.
Oh my goodness. Seriously, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm busting my ass. Goodness. Like I'm busting my ass just to get information out and just give people a place to talk. And it's just like, I don't know. We got to get enough real targeted individuals and rallies and everything and speaking the truth so that we're not so paranoid, you know, so that if there are like fake people in the chat rooms or whatever, it just doesn't matter, you know.
Well, as targeted individuals, we've got to expect that. We know there's going to be infiltrators. We know there's going to be stalkers. Like, we know there's just going to be good old-fashioned trolls. Like, we should know that. We're on the internet. Oh, my goodness. And with TIs.
Internet's a place for it, that's for sure.
You know, but... I'm sorry, but Brian's crossing the line with me a lot lately. He's just too offensive. Like, he just keeps leaving so many offensive comments.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Also,
Sorry.
There's this dialectical thinking that we have in the TI community that's been put out there by certain people, whether they're perps or not. There's been a false narrative that's put out, and that's right along the left-right paradigm. And one of the narratives out there is it's one of these us versus them things where you're either a TI or a perp. And real TIs never do anything wrong, and real TIs are empathetic and would never do anything mean to anyone. And if someone does something mean, they're a perp. Well, I'd like everyone in the chat to honestly ask themselves a question. Have you ever in your life purposefully said something or did something to lash back or hurt someone? That for whatever your motives, maybe you thought they deserved it, All of us have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
All
admit,
wicked
I
and
have.
sinful.
And we're humans as well. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to say the wrong things, do the wrong things.
Yeah.
You know,
Can I also
it's just
add?
what our intentions are.
Can I also add to that as
it's your
well?
intentions. Like, what are you trying to do as a whole? Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
Exactly.
With all the targeting stuff, I agree with all the targeting stuff. Like, it's bad, but at the same time, everybody's targeted. The gang stalkers are targeted. The TIs are targeted. Then the military are, because if the military gets out of line, they have to target them and put them back into line. This gets gang stalkers. Gang stalkers don't like think it, but they are targeted. They like it or not.
Yeah, I've seen.
So everybody's targeted in the end.
I know it goes against the popular narrative that TIs are, this angel of a person that never does anything wrong. But I've known real TIs, and I'm smart enough to know that just because there might be horrible people and take advantage of and exploit and manipulate and lie and smear campaign other TIs doesn't make them a perp. I mean, there are TIs out there in the community who are just rotten people. And I think that's something that really needs to be addressed. And it goes against the us versus them mentality. It's hard to really accept that.
Yeah.
That some of us might not be the best people inside.
I think we have to accept too that there might be some TIs that are damaged beyond repair. Do you know what I mean?
PTSD, hurt people.
Yeah, because this is a hard program. Like, this takes a lot of hard work in yourself. Like, us who shield, we know we have to do it every day. We know we even have to mix up the stuff that we're familiar with. Like, it's part and parcel, but at the same time, I feel as though we're choosing to survive. Like, I want to try and survive. I want to try and make it to, and I can't do that if I just lay there and just cop everything. Oh my goodness. Like, they've nearly killed me like 4 times in a row last year. Like, no way. The amount of times they've tried to run me off the road and stuff, like, no. Sorry, but I ain't just going to lay down and cop it.
Yeah.
If I put sticky tape on my belly button, I'm putting freaking sticky tape on my belly button.
Yeah. And we're going to see if it works. Like, I mean, that's what I've tried, a bunch of stuff that really, really works. ZBS driver, that lead cap that I'm using, the grounding, Dave Case's CD, the noise canceling hearing aids. I mean, I've found some incredible
phone conduction headphones that came from Brian Chu's suggestion.
Yeah, that Brian too actually suggested. They really work. It really, like, I mean, it starts kind of hurting my over here sometimes when I use them too long, but like it seems to really make my emotions more stable, kind of shakes off the remote neural manipulation a bit, like the visual injections and stuff like that. But the thing is, it's like if we get so paranoid and it's like, okay, well, there's fake TIs or whatever, and then we don't do anything, then we don't go anywhere. We don't move forward at all,
Exactly.
I don't see the point.
And we can't always be scared and running away from perps. Aren't we supposed to be building up our strength and stuff to fight against them?
Mm-hmm.
What's the point in running and hiding all the time?
Mm-hmm. There's kind of an echo.
Oh, sorry.
That'll be on my end. Yeah, you are, and you're also yelling way too loud. You don't need to.
Oh, sorry. Don't know my own vocal strength sometimes. Yeah, but we can't always be like, perps, oh no, freak out.
Well, and Badger, and Badger made a huge important point. Like, there's a whole spectrum of people that in the public, there's a whole spectrum of people that are targeted individuals. People are going to do bad things sometimes. People are going to be nice sometimes. It's always with us. It's always been like, oh, I'm getting into a fight with that person. They're a perp.
It's also the human nature that these things happen and mental disabilities. But the human nature, like, people are gonna get either aggressive or nice, or these people are so unpredictable. That's just what we are. We're super unpredictable. You might think, oh, that person's super mean. He's really selfish. But in the end game, when you say you want to like involve and see why they're so selfish to begin with, and the longer you be with them, you start to understand them, understand why they're so unpredictable, why they're so aggressive. Like, there's always a reason why people do things. Some of them are just as shit as why they started it. Some of them are pretty good reasons. Reasons are reasons, but it's why they do it and why they're so predictable about it, like unpredictable about it. But it's also like nice people. Don't instantly go like, oh, you're a nice person. I like you because you talk nice. In the end, they might be the biggest dicks ever. It's what's that mental disability where it's a sociopaths or psychopaths? It's like
Narcissist.
Sociopaths.
I was
like
gonna say
narcissists.
narcissist.
where they're really nice, but they
Yeah.
got the fake like nicety in the front of their face and go like, oh, I like you, and then they take it off and they end up wanting to wear your skin. That's not very
Yeah.
fun.
Like Hannibal Lecter was the very nice person. Ted Bundy was very nice. Ted Bundy was like very, very charming and stuff like that. The women went to his trial, and like one woman wanted to marry him, and like he had murdered like over tens and tens of women. You know, and then there's some people that look like mean and stuff, but they're really doing really nice stuff. So it's not always.
They're like one of those people who like I don't give a shit type of thing because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being like pushed around. I'm sick of this and that. So screw you, you know, type of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
But they go a bit too far where it makes them look bad until, you know, you put your effort in to try and see who they are. But like people who know to use it, like one of them is a good example for me is David Icke, how he just says, I just don't give a shit. But he doesn't do it like he wants to be brutal with everyone. He just says, I don't care about your opinions if you think I'm wrong or right. Like I just know who I am.
He like doesn't care in the right way. It's like he's a nice guy and he's telling the truth and whatever. I don't know, like I don't believe everything he talks about, but he does it in the right way. Like I don't care what you
There's
think.
a lot of
I'm gonna do.
I'll see a lot of things I do believe, but we all got our things where we want to like we might not believe or we might do believe. Like I know you guys are gonna hate this, but I can see a lot of good in Elon Musk, and I know you guys aren't gonna like it, but I'm gonna say anyway. But Elon Musk, like I can see his thoughts and opinions and how he's trying to demonstrate them, even if it's not too good to explain. But yeah, it's just. Oh my god, are you serious? I just forgot how I was about to say. No.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Elon. Well, the problem is though, is that he is out there and he's saying the only way to make AI okay and not take over the human race or kill the human race is to mix AI with humanity, which is what they're doing with targeted individuals. So it's like he has to know that they're experimenting on.
That was
people.
the part, man. That was the part when he said, "If you can't beat him, join him." It's like every person in civilization. If somebody like a communist, and you're like an American citizen, a military American citizen, you're not going to join the communists because you know you don't like them. But if they're ending up beating you because they're better in combat and they have better military strategy, what are you going to do? You got to join them, aren't you? Because you're losing.
No, you fight until you die if something's wrong. If something's wrong and something's evil, you fight it until you die or you win. And
I know.
You die for what you believe in. Like I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but you know, if you can't beat them, join them is a very dangerous concept because these systems that we're fighting are so big. They're so big, and that's what everybody's doing. That's what the gang stalkers are doing. That's these people microwaving us. They're saying, this system's too big, it's too powerful, it's already in power, and we're just going to join them. But then you end up doing all this evil stuff. Your life is worthless anyway. So you
Those
might
people
as well.
who do it, definitely, man. Yeah. Definitely. I can understand what you're saying. I can definitely see it. But like with Elon Musk, like right in the early beginning with Joe Rogan Experience podcast, he even said he was trying to stop because he knew it was going too far.
I don't believe that for 1 second. I was contacted by I haven't said this publicly, but I guess I will. I was contacted by the former nanny of the person we're talking about. She was his nanny when he was a kid. And she's the same person who contacted Face Like the Sun, Gons from Face Like the Sun, where he made that video, The Curious Lineage of Elon Musk, where he exposed that Elon Musk's grandfather was arrested for technocracy in Canada in the 1930s during the Nazi scare. They enacted laws in Canada in the 1930s basically against technocracy because it was very similar to fascism, and you know there was a big scare about that at the time. And because she proved that she was his nanny, because nobody on the internet had found this connection to his grandfather, because he had changed his name and moved, and you had to know exactly where to look and what to look for, and they found it in the local newspapers of the day. And she told me some other things about Elon. Their family is very deep into the occult. Yeah, big surprise. All these scientists are always into the occult and witchcraft and all that. And they had she witnessed him doing witchcraft when he was only like 5 years old, to where there was this chest of all these artifacts they had gathered throughout Africa, because if you know the history of the Musk family, they spent a good bit of time in Africa. That's where he gets that accent. And they had this weird chest up in the attic with all these witch doctor artifacts that they gathered throughout Africa that they thought had power. Well, it turns out they did, because she went up there and he was a little kid and he was floating up off the ground, and there was like what she said looked like a black hole in front of him, and he was laughing and clapping, and she had to grab him and pull him away from it. And I believe her, and she's proven, you know, that she was indeed his nanny. So I don't believe anything that comes out of Elon's mouth.
Anybody who's doing space exploration, doing neuralays, sending up satellites, doing everything the military-industrial complex is involved in, they have to have connections to elite families. It just has to be.
Mm-hmm. But there's no one thing I see that's extremely narrow-minded. If, say, yes, his father did bad things, and that's understandable. It's all on the internet. It's easy to find. And I'm not going to disagree with that. But why would you blame somebody who was very young and never influenced his life with that father, who actually had different opinions to his father? So you're going to blame a dad's history on a child and end up growing up and it's saying himself that he can see the damage. Of course, he isn't going to fully stop it because he's obviously under, you know, the gun. He isn't going to step out of place too harshly. He's already did that a few times. He's lost money.
I mean, this lady was targeted because of what she knew about him. Really bad.
They knew about him, but is it him who's done it?
He seems to play both sides, really, I think.
Yeah. He can, like, I can see that because, you know, he needs
like, you don't stay a billionaire and get to do all the things that he does if you're not in their pocket, you know? Like...
Oh, I can see that.
And like what was said, I can't remember which live stream it was, but about him being like the poster boy sort of thing for it all, you know, to get us to listen and to trust, be like, oh wow, you know, Elon Musk is doing this and that, must be good, you know.
Well, there are a lot of poster boys, and I understand he is going to be one because, you know, he has to keep that face. I do concede that, and like Tansy said, he's a double in this regard. But yeah, as he's being a poster boy, but he's also doing that to keep his family safe. He's actually done a journal, like being a New York Times journalist in the early 2000s, explaining I have to do these because they're threatening me and my family, and they're literally making my name bad.
It's like people have to make a decision, though. It's like, for present safety, do they betray the human race? Because like we're going into a time where there's mass genocide and mass mind control. So it's like everybody has to make a decision. It's like, oh, well, I just want to protect my family, but for how long are you going to protect your family for? So I think that's
think about it. The human race betrayed itself at the beginning. We fought under the order of the elites when we knew they were bad. There were so many things that we betrayed ourselves. We, as the public, ignore knowledge, like a lot of knowledge, and we got it to our disposal, but we just throw it away saying, it's too scary. I don't like this. I don't want to hear it.
But I think that's a little bit of propaganda, too. It's like the people who have the real knowledge in the world, they make it seem scary. so that the public doesn't want to, you know, take advantage of it. It's all
It
like
is,
this
isn't it?
conditioning.
Yeah, well, look what they're doing with this program. You know, they make us fear colors. They make us fear shapes. They make us fear numbers. They make us get nervous around coughing, around people scratching their noses. You know, like something might fly in your eye and you're like, oh, like that. And all of a sudden you're doing a blooming symbol thing because you're covering up. I think I did the wrong eye, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, yeah, you
right eye or whatever.
Yeah, like they've made us so like afraid of so much and so jumpy, and they've also made us like really hyper vigilant and stuff like that as well. So I think it's really important, especially in this time and age, is to go further. You know, everything has more meanings to it than just what's on the surface. You know, like everything, like when we're talking about the color green with healing your retinas, like you know, they do green color conditioning on people and stuff like that, and people all of a sudden get freaked out. Did you also know green makes a beautiful color with arsenic? So back in the day of Napoleon, like they think it might have been what actually ended up killing him because he was obsessed with it, and so he had green wallpaper everywhere in his bedroom, and the green was made with arsenic. That's how they got that color green.
Ah.
So,
okay.
and did you also know? I've got to find this out. I can't remember the channel of it. Right, this when I get the computer up and running, like I'll give more details on all this sort of stuff. But the blackest black is a nano color, right? And there's only one person in the world who's legally allowed to use it, and he's some military guy, like someone really high up. I can't remember his name right now. I'll have to relook into it, but. Yeah, only one person. And I was watching this show called Super Blondie, the car show, and they've just made a car using this nano black paint technology, black color technology, and it's so dangerous because like at night the car's invisible, you can't see it, so they're not going to be able to like sell it for public.
Even if you had like a tree next to it, because you know that's going to cover the sky a little bit. Will it actually even like camouflage the sky if you look up at a certain direction with the car?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, so yeah, and I've come across this nano black. I've come across it. Be careful of your products. Now, what I do, right, is I, in the shops, if I'm like, say, going to grab a black rubber mat or something, right, I will compare it with every other black color that I can see to make sure it's not the darkest black. Because if it is, then it's nano. And I've accidentally brought it into my house before and it caused absolute havoc. So and it was a rubber mat. So,
like it had nano fibers in it or something like that? That could actually
it's completely nano. Yeah, it's like a goo kind of nano.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the black goo stuff that I've heard about. I've never
Yeah,
seen
but
any
it's
of
nano.
it.
It's not black goo. It's different. But yeah, because there's different types of nano. Like we've got the nano dust, we've got the nano fiber, and we've got whatever this nano black stuff is. Like I haven't been able to find the actual information on exactly what it is. Like on the color show thing that I was telling you about with the arsenic green and the nano black, it was actually on a piece of aluminum foil, right? And from straight on, you could from straight on you could see the black, but from an angle you couldn't see the black. It was invisible. It just looked like a piece of aluminum foil.
So it was like it was so blended in, like a camouflage almost.
Yeah, it has some sort of some light reflecting thing about it. And I'm thinking like, could this have something to do with their invisibility cloaking suits and stuff that they wear now? Like the news, you can find mainstream news about it, and they've made it out to look like the shield thing that they hold, which is a load of
Tansy, Ninja ask, is it Venta Black?
Is it what? Sorry.
Venta Black.
Venta Black.
Phantom Black. No, it's darker than Phantom Black. Yeah, and you can only see it on certain angles. That's why they can't have it. Like they can't have the car out on the road and all of that, because you literally won't be able to see it at night and when certain lights hit it. So I reckon that's a part of their invisibility cloaking. So
I think that's like a light refraction. Like they have like a, but it could be that material, because that may have light refraction to it too. Like if
yeah,
it's,
it could be.
yeah. God, there's
Yeah.
just so much stuff. There's so much stuff that needs to be released to the public. You know, they're using right now that it'll be released in consumer markets and things that the public knows about eventually, but they're just stalling so they can use it as weapons. They can use it against the public for, you know, as long as they want to.
Yeah. Well, I just was doing a search at the time for colors and like chemicals and poisons and stuff, because I'd come across some stuff, and I couldn't find what I was actually looking for, ironically. And this one was on a bit of a mainstream channel. Gosh, it was nearly 2 years ago now that I saw it. And like 90% of the information was boring, like mainstream stuff, but just those two interesting facts about it. Like, yeah. So, because I've come across.
Ninja's saying it is Venta Black. Or are you saying, Ninja, that you spelt it right? Or are you saying you searched it and it is that?
Vanta Black.
Vanta. Sorry.
It's like Vanta Black, VANTABLACK. Vanta.
Oh, like Vanta.
Maybe.
Like Van and Tar. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, at the time it was interesting and all that, but I was really trying to find more along the lines of poison and chemicals, because like I'd come across inside my couch and everything, a light pink, a light silvery blue, there's a blue one, and there's a red one. The red one I call my kryptonite. It makes me like literally go legless around it.
Where do you see the red stuff? I get that like on my walls and like in my bathtub and stuff like that, and it seems like it's a type of fungus or mold. It's like pinkish red.
Kind of looks like crayon.
Like
I don't know.
Red.
It looks like crayon red for what I've seen, because you know
when
you
I
don't
get the
see red.
computer up and running, I'll show you, because I actually kept some of it. What I found was I had found a couple of streaks of like what looks like red paint just randomly on the walls and stuff, but what I found was like little M&M shaped red things. The first one I found was underneath my rug in the lounge room, and in this house here I purposely stated out loud like which room I was going to go in, because I wanted to see what they would do. And I found another little red M&M thing, like it's the exact same shape as an M&M, and it's thick like an M&M, but you know it's not an M&M. And it was stuck to the top of the door. And
Luckily
I've
you didn't eat
also
it.
found one on the window frame as well out in the lounge room. So, and like I'm personally, you know how like we're all chemically different, right? So there's chemicals that are going to affect you really badly and no one else, poisons and stuff like that, you know. So this one affects me really badly. I don't know what it is. But,
well, and Dr. Hoffer also said a huge part of this, beyond beyond certain toxins and nanotechnologies, there are specific toxins that they will use on specific targeted individuals to make the directed energy weapons react differently to your body, to react differently to your mind. And he says there's a bunch of them. He says that's the key to understanding how the attacks work. But he had a specific word for it, which I can't remember.
Yes, it is.
You guys get something interesting.
And that's why I was trying to like figure out what they were, like what were these chemicals, and I couldn't find it on YouTube. The most I could find, or even online, full stop, I googled it and stuff as well, couldn't find it. Yeah, I know by my reactions when I get close to it, and I just remove it. Some stuff I can't even clean off. I've had to like paint it off. The stuff in the couch, I just threw the couch away, you know.
Yeah, God, that was a really annoying to get out of the garage.
When I chemically lift, I don't know why with me, must be my setup, my biology, you know, they've really got to go hard with the chemicals with me, because if I even get rid of them like half, like 50% gone, I'm barely getting hit, barely getting touched by the EMFs. And as soon as I added the Epsom salt to my washing, oh man, that has made such a huge difference. And don't dry your clothes outside, whatever you do. Like dryers, I know are pretty expensive, but it's one of the best way to do it. I don't do a dryer. I cleared out a whole room, and I have a room where I dry like all my clothes and stuff, and make sure that like nothing can get in there, no dust or anything like that can get in there. But it was the Epsom salt that was the changing point, because I did the borax, the baking soda, and that was it, like with just normal washing powder, and it was working good. It was. My clothes were looking cleaner, and they did feel a bit cleaner. But as soon as I added that Epsom salt, oh wow, amazing.
There is one thing, because you guys are talking about defenses. One of them is honey. Hopefully you guys know that. We surely do. Honey is like a really good one.
I've heard of that.
Well, yeah.
I've heard you can rub honey on yourself, but it's so messy, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely messy.
Don't
I
do
don't
it
want
least
to
if you
do
have a dog
any
around
honey
there.
either.
At least if you have a
Don't do
dog
it with
around,
any
it's
honey
clean.
badgers around either.
Watch out, Badger might start looking at
Honey badger don't care.
Honey badger
But
gonna
honey
get
is
that
definitely
honey.
good. Definitely good. What's that one?
I do this. I do the when I heard Look Out for Charlie in his regiment, I tried to do as close to it as I could. And so I do an Epsom salt bath, and then I'll like wait a couple of hours, and then I'll do borax with the palm olive with L-lactate. It was the orange palm olive soap. I changed that out with tea tree oil. Oh, my hearing aids are going off.
I can hear that.
Y'all don't hear it? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
That's
bad.
really loud. It sounds like
Yeah.
screeching.
I was using that dishwashing liquid as well, and they stopped selling it. Can't get it now.
Really,
So
the
there must
orange
have really
kind?
been something to it. Yes.
There is. The L-lactate acid in it is supposed to get the biofilm off. It's supposed to just like shear it off. Like Look Out for Charlie would do it, and he'd have these huge like shards of stuff coming off of him. But I did that regimen for a month, and my V2K went down like 60%. The external hits went down like probably 80%. Like everything went down so much. I did it for a month straight, but then I had a hard time keeping up with it. You know, it's hard to like keep up with it every month, every year. That's the bad thing about some of these defenses. To do it all the time, it gets so annoying. It gets so annoying to like keep everything on, put the grounding on every time I sit down, you know. But I'd really recommend, you know, what Look Out for Charlie says, the Epsom salt, and then switching out with you know, borax and tea tree oil is what I'm doing now. Tea tree oil works awesome.
I know. I use a lot of tea tree oil. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is
so
another
refreshing.
thing too. There is another thing, and it's soy sauce.
Soy sauce. Well, and also hot sauce, cayenne pepper is supposed to get the biofilm off. Like what's her name? I can't remember her name, but she was telling everybody to put cayenne pepper all over them. But I think that it would kill it, like the cayenne pepper. What'd you say? Soy sauce?
Soy sauce, yeah. So, what you would get at a sushi place.
Yeah.
Where you'll like sushi, yeah. Not that type of sushi sauce though. You need to get one that's it's Home Gold or Gold something. Like it's a really cheap brand. But to America, I'm not sure what it's called. But you need to get the cheap version because this expensive version doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you guys should test soap, pepper, and some aluminium foil stuff.
In water, yeah, that was trippy.
Oh yeah, of course, you need the water. That's really important. I should have mentioned that one. But yeah, it's interesting because when we tried it, the pepper, you know how pepper's not meant to move, right? The pepper swam directly towards a single type of foil. Purposely, we saw it, eh?
Yeah, and there's the pepper actually, like we had aluminium foil, right? Because this is when I was using a lot of aluminium foil for shielding. And then I realized like something wasn't right with the aluminium foil. I was getting a bad reaction from it and it wasn't working. So what we did was we got a piece of the new stuff and a piece of the old stuff that was working, and we put it in the water with the pepper, like just in a bowl. And the pepper actually swum towards the contaminated stuff. Like, no kidding. We could actually do that again, you know. We still got that pepper. Yeah, and it just swum towards it. So if your aluminium foil is not working, then it could be contaminated.
Yeah. Also, the patterns on aluminium foil as well. If you look really closely, you look at the old one, you can see patterns like stitching.
Yeah.
And the ones that we tested, the one with the smallest patterns were the bad one, and the one with the big patterns was a good one.
No, if it's got a grid pattern on it, don't use it. I don't know why, but it makes things worse. But if it's a smooth aluminium and a little bit thicker, that's usually good. But what they did with me was they put like some sort of coating on it. Now you could actually run your finger off it, right? And it would come off your finger. You couldn't see it, but if you've got a black light, it would come up the same color as the chemicals that you see on your walls.
So Tansy, can I ask you a question? Like, so are you thinking that they're coming in at night and putting toxins on like your walls and things, or do you think that it's chemistry from afar? Because I've talked to targeted individuals and they say that they're doing it by some kind of method from far away. Are you thinking that's what's happening? Or are you thinking that they're actually coming in and physically putting some of these toxins in your environment?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. Like if you've got vents, they can obviously easily get through. Also, a particular gecko that we had going around in the house, it was a gecko with black dots all over it. I busted that, right, on the wall. And then after it left, I waited and I put the black light on it and the same color chemical came up. So I think that it might have been a gecko out of the lab, or it was a particular type of gecko or something. But this gecko was leaving that chemical stuff everywhere. So
really, you know that geckos breathe through their skin, like so they actually absorb toxins through their skin. That might be a good way to test if you have anything poison in your house. Well, I guess not if you think they're sending in geckos for that. But geckos, like if you put them in something that's like poisonous, they'll breathe it in through their skin, and you could tell if there were toxins.
Yeah, and we would have this. Well, it was this one particular gecko. It looked like it had like black goo on it. The little dots, like they were a bit raised and everything. Yeah, it looked like it had black goo on it. This little gecko. So, and I hadn't seen it before that house. So if it was from the lab, I don't know, or if it's just the area, I don't know. But
could have been could have been a genetically modified gecko. I mean, they've released genetically modified mosquitoes and genetically modified ticks and all kinds of stuff. Fruit flies.
Do you want to know something? Yeah, after every house inspection we'd have at the last house that I was just talking about, where the weird gecko was, after every house inspection, we'd end up with a fruit fly epidemic. And these fruit flies, their pee-pees and poo-poos were like super glue. Nothing could get them off. I couldn't kill them. The only way I could get rid of them was vacuum them off. And it was so bad. It was so bad that I ended up painting the ceiling because I couldn't clean it. And then can you mute it while I talk? Then the same guy that would do the house inspections, right? He ended up leaving that real estate, and the real estate agent told me that after he left, they had a fruit fly epidemic in there, and they can't get rid of it. They've literally had to have professionals come in and fumigate it, and they're getting it painted.
Wow.
So it was like he was carrying fruit flies around with him, or the larvae or something. Like, yeah, but fruit flies and this particular person seem to be connected. So I wonder if like people, dust us with eggs or, little larvae or something or whatever, and we're unknowingly bringing it into our houses and stuff, or when they come into our houses, they're leaving it around. And I'd follow him around and I'd watch him like a hawk. So, because he just gave me the creepies. So, yeah, I'd just, and he smelled a little bit. So, yeah, I just watch him. And, and every time I clean, like I've actually changed what I clean with now. No joke of a lie, I would hear this like sound I would hear this like sound like an alarm going off. Like I hear like crickets and stuff a lot, and it'd be like the crickets are making this alarm sound. And no kidding, all of a sudden ants come running in, a cockroach or two will come running in, flies are like bustling to get in every time I would clean. So I've noticed that like most cleaning products have some type of a scent that attracts insects as well. So, you know, they might be apple or lemon or even floral,
Even
stuff like that, right?
the Dawn dish soap, if you want to catch fruit flies, all you got to do is take a little plastic cup, put water and a little dish soap in there, and then put saran wrap with little holes, and they'll fly in and then get drown in the water.
Yeah, we had that
I wish I
experience
knew
as
that.
well.
I wish I knew that then. But
Yeah, we had that. Remember the soap?
no, that was a soft drink. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, the echo. I don't want to move. I want to be in the air conditioning. But I totally got distracted. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah. You know WD-40.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have that in America? WD-40 is awesome to clean with. Awesome. Like, I don't know what it is about my house. I don't know if it's because of the stuff that goes on here. I don't know, like, the stuff that they do. But, like, I could literally, like, clean my benches, like, scrub them clean. I can use bleach or anything, wipe them over with a paper towel, and they're still filthy. But if I use WD-40 on the benches and I just, like, not like wipe it off or anything. Like I clean the bench first and I use a WD-40 and then I just smooth it over with a paper towel, just let it sit. And I haven't had any insects problems since. And it's really good for cleaning stainless steel fridges and stuff as well. And because it's got like a good amount of degreaser, well, because it's a degreaser, so it'll keep it cleaner for longer. And Windows is the same too. And the scent is actually not too bad and it doesn't attract any insects and stuff. Because like I clean windows and all that, and they would just bombard my windows, and no matter what I use, like even with vinegar, like so I've had a really hard time
cleaning everything. Yeah. What about Lysol?
Well,
what about just like some pine Sol, like some pine Sol that you clean floors with? You think that would?
Oh yeah. I don't know, but every time I'd use a traditional cleaning product, it would happen every time. It was really weird. I don't know why. It's like it triggered off a sensor or something, like the smell or something triggered off a sensor. Like any cleaning product I use, it didn't matter. Yeah, so I had to just experiment and just try stuff. So I already knew WD-40 is really good for cleaning your headlights on your car. That's another thing I've noticed with targeted individuals. They get like really cloudy headlights. Is that what you would call it? Like really quick?
In my
Have
car,
you guys found that?
My car has like holes in the top of the car, like these holes that have been ripped into it. And I think it's actually because something or someone is putting chemicals on the car and it's like sucking into the intake system and then coming out of my air conditioner. So it's like they're putting it on my hood.
Yeah, very well could be. But yeah, and another really cool handy tip, guys. Do you guys know what dryer sheets are?
Never heard of them. Yeah.
No,
we got dryer sheets over here across the pond.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, like they're super cheap. I don't know how much they cost you guys, but they're like $6 here, right? And you can use one packet for a really long time. Okay, so I use them in like the air conditioner, because like I get a lot of dust and crap that gets dumped on me, and so like every 2 weeks they're filthy. I've got to like take them out, clean it. And then once you clean it, you can just keep reusing them. You can reuse them for ages. They're also really good for cleaning. Excellent for getting like soap scum off and stuff like that. Really good cleaning. Also vacuum cleaners. Like, you know how targeted individuals have a really hard time with dust levels in their house, right? So in your vacuum cleaner, put some dryer sheets in the filters in that as well. and it smells beautiful too when you vacuum. And also too, if there's any chemicals that are around, because like, you know, we're all walking around in these chemtrail polluted grounds, you know, it is the world now. So we're tracking it back into our houses, and we're tracking it into our cars and stuff like that. But when you're like vacuuming, for example, you know, in a house, like a combined area, you're just blowing stuff back out again into the air. So this will help like big time with filtering that. And like I said, once it gets dirty, you could just like wash it out and reuse it. What else? Oh, also for your car vents as well. You can use them in your car vents too. And it smells beautiful when you've got the air conditioner on, and it won't 100% stop anything. It's like wearing the mask.
It can stop a little bit of it. Like it can stop like a bunch of it from coming in, but it won't stop all of it. You know?
Yeah.
What do you put it? You just put it on top of the car vents, like on the outside, or do you put it like inside of the car where the air blows out?
Well, it depends on your car. Like if you can get the vents out, then you know you put it in there. I can't with mine, so you know I just have to sticky tape mine on top. But I don't care.
Hey guys, I don't know if you realize this, maybe you have, but Ella's on.
Oh, Ella. Where?
Yeah,
Ella.
Her mic is muted though. Ella, did you want to say something? I think she was just coming on, but her mic is muted.
I have to flip over to the like next page thing to see her. I didn't even know she was there. Sorry, Ella. Yeah, so hopefully that's some handy tip for you, and super cheap. If you Google the dry sheets, there's a really cool website that has 45 different ways of how you can use them. So they're really cool. Like if you had like vents in your ceiling, I would put them up in that as well.
Yeah, I got a vent right here.
Especially if you live.
But I don't think I'm being sprayed with toxins.
If I was you.
I don't think I'm getting any toxin sprayed, and I think that they may have messed with my water. You know, because my dog gets sick if I give her the water from the faucet. My dog gets intense diarrhea.
Oh,
so I've had to start buying her bottled water, and I don't. Yeah, like I only use the faucet water for like boiling things or just washing my hands and stuff like that. I think that's been messed with, you know.
Yeah,
it would be, considering that your dog's pooping out a brown river.
Yeah, well, it's like yellow. It gets yellow, so she gets really sick, and it's like bile.
God, it's like a pimple
they're really
poop.
contaminated.
Ew.
If I was you, I'd still cover up your vents because you live in an apartment, especially. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's as cheap as chips, mate, and all it's going to do is make your room smell really nice if it doesn't work.
Yeah, I need to clean up better. I got a mess and I got dust like you're talking about. And I think that I probably am sitting in a bunch of different toxins. I try and do the cleansing baths and stuff like that, but I really got to clean my place up. It's getting really
especially
bad.
sitting in your own skin cells as well. That's
well,
that's
if you've got
horrible.
vents, if you've got windows, if you go outside, you know, you're constantly going to be around it. It's everywhere. This is kind of where you can look at as everybody being targeted as well. Because everybody's swimming in this crap, you know. Just not everybody's copying the stalking and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and the directed, like the integrated neuroweapon systems being aimed at them. But if people are sucking in whatever is coming from chemtrails and the toxins, and they hold their phone, they're using their phone, this non-ionized microwave radiation is going to be conducting along their skin. It's going to be getting, you know, it's going to be hurting their heart and everything like that. And the computer.
And also, and
the TV.
Talk about neuroweapons. This is going off the road here, isn't it? Yeah. But have you guys heard of police surveillance or surveillance in general?
Yeah.
I tried to give you guys a link towards it. I don't know if you've seen it, but I was trying to give a link towards police surveillance. And the stuff on there is very, very interesting. It kind of explains a lot of what's happening with this gang stalking in general and how it works and how they do it professionalized and non-professionalized as well. But it explains why there's so many drones in the sky and why there's such low-flying planes. Not commercial planes, just a regular little, N7s or something? Like the little propeller planes.
Like,
But
Like
yeah,
the
like,
Cessnas kind of thing.
basically the little planes. And I've been looking into police surveillance and especially techniques and tactics. And the drones use floodlights, sirens, thermal cameras, obviously regular cameras, and there was another one, I can't record the other one. It's like around 4 or 5. And that's obviously aerial surveillance, which we all know, because if you look up, it's all aerial surveillance. But with the plane one, it's different because it still does aerial surveillance, but it takes video recordings. So as they're flying over, it takes recording, and then once they recorded a whole circle of radius and come back to base to search the recordings, it's one of those, if there's any criminals that have done something, it's too late type of thing. But with drones are actually useful because it's already being watched on. It's already camera, like you can already see it through cameras. It's happening there and then. So if you do something, they instantly see you, compared to say a plane where it has to take time to come back with information.
Yeah, there's a good side to all of this technology and stuff if they used it for the right stuff. Like by all rights, there should be no crime in the world.
mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
Look at what we experience. Look at how we're treated. And we aren't even going to do any of the things that bad criminals do, you know?
It's like they do, like cops will use through the wall radar, and they'll use some what's called non-lethal weapons, like if there's a hostage situation, to like beam sounds or something into somebody's heads. But with us, they're trying to create crime. They're trying to take innocent people and make us do crazy stuff because they're microwaving our brain, and they're trying to create false flags so that the community will get scared and they can take more control of the communities and the cities and stuff like that. But they also do. The police also do use non-lethal weapons in like hostage situations and stuff like that. So they are actually doing some good stuff with the technology, but then they're trying to create chaos and crime and get data from the research on us and the torture on us. So it's like they're doing.
And then with this, the vehicle
they're
called
doing
Sting.
everything.
Oh, sorry.
But they need to. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Tiber.
No, I just didn't know you were talking because my phone was lagging and I thought you stopped, but I heard your voice lagging through and I was like, oh, oops.
I talk all the time, so I want you guys to talk. Like and
I think your point that you just made, Kyle, makes it even more imperative that we do these type of things. You know, that we do like these panels and live chats and information giving and just sharing of experiences and stuff like that. You know, it's good to get it out in a healthy way, because it's never good to bottle things up. You know, it's already intense and insane, even with people around you that can understand the best that anybody's going to be able to. You know, it's still crazy insane, isn't it? But imagine bottling that up. Oh my goodness.
Oh no. And I think that's the thing. That's the deal. I think anybody who's a targeted individual that's being raped and murdered by this stuff, you have nothing to lose. Like, your attackers may be angry that you're speaking out or whatever, but if you just stay in isolation, they're going to hurt you anyway. They're going to hurt you worse. And our only chance is to get these gang stalkers understanding they're participating in murder and make the public aware of it, because if the public becomes more aware of it, then there will be pressure on the mainstream media to report it. There'll be pressure on the military industrial complex to stop it. It's our only chance. Awareness is the only chance we have. Somebody was talking about somebody was talking about a civil war earlier. I mean, what do y'all think about that? You got the military industrial complex with satellites that can start fires. They've got active denial systems. They've got all this technology. So if a militia got together with guns, they would stand no chance. Like, our only chance is to make the public aware of this. There could be no standing army or militia that could go up against the military industrial complex.
No, we're beyond that now. You know, that was like Napoleon Day stuff. Do you know what I mean? Civil War stuff. We are now at a stage. We're now at a stage where it's a war of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
We have to use our intelligence and our tact. Mm-hmm. We have to. And this is one reason too where we've got to stop freaking out about like perps and perp channels and disinfo agents and things like that, because we have to do counterintelligence. How we can't do counterintelligence with ourselves. Like we can do intelligence gathering through learning with each other, but it's them that's going to use their lingo. They're the ones that are going to say stuff that we wouldn't have been able to find out. Do you know what I mean? Like, because we wouldn't know how to search it. So it's going to be through them that we learn a lot as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like through disinformation agents, they'll put out some truth, and you can like research what they're saying. You can get what's true, and then throw away the lie part of it, the propaganda part of it. Yeah,
exactly. And once you learn a proper terminology, especially because we don't even have proper terminologies going around the community.
That is a big thing. That is a big thing. Like,
yes.
People use the word gang stalking to describe things that aren't actually gang stalking.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. Even organized stalking is not the right word. You know, like we don't have the proper terminology. And we have to learn the proper terminology, and we have to spread that like wildfire. You know, we've got to start learning everything.
Well, see, I think this is what I say. So what would y'all say the terms like for the street theater, vehicular stalking, community-based stalking? I say gang stalking.
Yeah.
Then I say for the microwave attacks, I say microwave attackers.
Yeah.
I just say that, or directed energy weapon attacks. But then it's like for all of it, for the whole thing, I just say targeting. What would y'all say? What would y'all say would be the right term?
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, yeah.
That feels accurate because that's what's happening to us. But like,
well, as you explained,
I think they would have different titles, you know, like because like they think they're like taking medical readouts of our hearts and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like to them, they would have different positions and things like that.
Yeah. So their side is saying maybe uses like remote neural monitoring. Surveillance role playing.
Yeah, more probably along those lines. Yeah.
and I think for gang stalking, they say they use surveillance, like they're surveilling a person of interest. I think that's or maybe they use like community placed agent. What would they say? Like what do you think a gang stalker would call it? If they're coming out at the same time, like your neighbors coming out at the same time as you out of their house, what would they call that? Would they call that
community watch?
Just community
watch? Big Brother.
Maybe.
It's,
I don't know. You know, with COINTELPRO, does anybody know the official terms that were used back then when they were doing all this surveillance stuff on people? What did they use it?
What did they use? Said COINTELPRO. I think that's what they
used. Just COINTELPRO.
Or counterintelligence, or what's the other thing? I saw a job thing, like I looked online for counterintelligence, COINTELPRO, surveillance role playing. I saw a bunch of jobs for surveillance role playing. So like gang stalkers who do street theater, it's like surveillance role playing. They're playing a part, but they're also like surveilling. And I guess they don't acknowledge the harassment part. What do they think the harassment part is? Like that.
I reckon they just feel imploded because of the surveillance word. You know, they're all big and important and official in the community because they're doing surveillance.
Yeah,
but we also have to think
to get the dangerous person's attention away from whatever onto them. You know, they're so brave.
Yeah.
Jeez, hard talking here.
I just want to slap them.
Yeah, it's how do they think? Okay, so if they're told we're mentally ill or we did some kind of crime to harass us, what do they think that's accomplishing? Do they think it's like?
Well,
how do they think that's going to?
I don't know. I think there are some people that do think that they're actually serving a noble cause, but I think a lot of the people that participate in this are on that antisocial personality disorder spectrum along the lines of a narcissist, malignant narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, and all that. borderline
Yeah.
personality. I'll tell you a story.
I think
There
I know
was-
you've been watching Badger. I've
Yeah.
heard somebody very similar who's explaining what creates a gang stalking and how it relates to narcissistic psychopaths, sociopaths.
I talk about that a
Mentally
lot.
challenged.
And I'll tell you a
Badger, can you wait
story. I'll tell you a story. There was this lady that I befriended. She was an older lady. I met her. She was walking out of a grocery store as I was walking into a grocery store, and she happened to have a broken ankle, and the same left ankle that I broke my ankle like a year before that. And I offered to help her carry her groceries to her car, and she told me the story of her leg and all this. And then I gave her my number and, offered to go to her house and, help her while she had that broken leg. And I did. Went over there a few times, and I noticed her attitude towards me getting more and more perpy, let's say. And I started to question her more and more if she was a perp or not. And there was this one day I was over there. I had just done a bunch of stuff out in her garage, and she was feeding me some food she made before I left. And we were sitting there, and I started to tell her about gang stalking, right? And I've noticed that her and one other person that I know for sure was a perp didn't know what the term gang stalking was, but when I explained it, they're like, "Oh yeah." I started to explain to her what it was, right? And because I was trying to gauge her reaction, and she was like, she all of a sudden she had a mood change, a change of behavior, they call it in psychology, and she was kind of wanting to know more about it, and her breathing started to become a little bit shallow, and her pupils became dilated.
Wow.
And I showed her this video from YouTube of one of those news channels from like Florida that covered the topic. And she sat down and watched that video. She wasn't somebody with a very long attention span, but she paid attention to every single second of that video. And by the end of it, she was having a panic attack.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And she would not look me in the eye after that. It was like she had just lost all of her clothes and she was standing naked in front of me. She was so ashamed. She couldn't look at me. And all of a sudden, like, she's like, well, I think we better, wrap it up here. Wouldn't look at me at all. And she was a very, very intense eye contact kind of person. I think she was definitely, I'm pretty sure she was a narcissist. Because narcissists maintain very strong eye contact because they're trying to basically read your mind and your body language and try to psychologically feed on your negative energy that they can create by jacking with you and messing with you. Yeah. So
interesting.
That told me that she was participating in something. She didn't know the name of it, and she sure didn't know that it was being exposed. And she was like, oh my God, they lied to me. I might get caught doing this. And she had a panic attack.
What was this video?
It was one of those videos.
Can we put it in the link? Can we put it in the chat or something, like the link?
Yeah, sure. Because
that sounds like a good video.
Was it the men in California who were talking? Those three older men who were talking about being.
I think it was that Spanish lady who was the former girlfriend of Dr. John Hall.
Oh yeah, where they took apart her like washer and dryer.
I think it was a compilation of a few.
Okay, yeah.
There's been a few different times where TIs have been on the news.
Really?
Okay, now I'm curious.
Like being targeted?
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots.
The Badger, how did you discover, or like, how did you discover it yourself without asking, like, telling anybody else? Like, how did you learn it yourself?
What gang stalking was?
All of it. Gang stalking, all of what you know. How
Well,
did you learn it?
it's been very progressive. You know, you learn as you go. I learn every day, but in like January of 2017, 17. So it's been, wow, 3 years now. I was thinking to myself, I had seen like a commercial or something, and it was like, call this hotline now if you're like an abused housewife or something like that. And I was thinking to myself, because I had been getting stalked pretty hard in the apartment I lived in. And I thought to myself, like, there's got to be some kind of advocacy group for men that are stalked for no good reason by people they don't even know. And I just put into Google stalking advocacy groups. And yeah. And I scrolled and I scrolled, and it might have been on the second page, but I found that website, fightgangstalking.com. And I'll never forget it, man. I was laying in my bed and I read through it in about maybe 15 or 20 minutes. And I knew when I finished reading that through that website, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a targeted individual.
Wow.
But you just said before then that you already knew that you're being gang stalked in your apartment. How
I
did you
didn't
end
know
up
the
knowing
term.
that?
I didn't know what the term gang stalking
Yeah,
was.
that's like how we all know like weird stuff's going on, but we've got no idea exactly what it is. It's just also weird, and why are these people following me? What, you know, all this weird stuff, and then we happen upon it through the internet, and like you said, like it doesn't take long, and you're like, oh, whoa, that just
Mhm.
explains my whole situation. For me, it wasn't actually the first video I saw. Ironically, like I wasn't even searching for it. They just put it up on my homepage as a recommendation. So now I look back on it, I think they were actually trying to go overt for quite a while, and I was just completely ignoring it. And it was just a regular person. I can't remember who it was, but it was a bit crazy and out there. Like it wasn't something I really connected with. I thought it was interesting. I thought, oh yeah, okay, this is interesting. But then I came across what was that one that Dr. Catherine Horton and Romola D were doing? What was that show?
The
Crime
Techno
Fighters or
Crime
something?
Fighters Forum.
Techno Crimes. Yeah. Then I came across that. And the way they explained it, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. It explained my whole entire life just right there and then. I was like, oh my goodness. And then I started looking at like all the other videos in a different light. And instead of sort of like looking at them like a reality kind of show way, you know, it was weird. I think I was still a bit disconnected because I wasn't like, you know, you Badger, I wasn't seeking it. Like they threw it in my face. Yeah, so, but yeah, so it took the official information side of things to get my cogs moving with it and realize, you know.
I feel like they
and,
really didn't want me to know what the term was. I don't know. I just feel like, because like, especially when I started recording things, there was like a 2-week period where all the gang stalking stopped completely for like 2 weeks, because I was getting really good footage of stuff I still haven't released, and I may or I may not, I'm not sure.
yeah.
And then when it started back up again, it was a completely different program, much less overt, much less aggressive. So I feel like, because I guess I'm a good storyteller and I can explain myself well, and I'm well spoken, and I can handle highly stressful situations without losing my head, and I can video record and do it covertly without making a scene to anybody else, because I was using this app called Hidden Recorder app. If any guys ever, if any guys would ever look it up, it's an app where you can record video on the front or rear facing camera while the screen is black. So that what I would do is see, I got my front pocket here. I would put the phone in my front pocket with the camera sticking out, and I'd be recording everything. See, a lot of TIs, they be holding their camera out, and then they make a scene, and it gives the perps an open door to get their foot in the door to say, look, this guy's crazy. He's paranoid. He's going around recording everybody. But I never did that. I never made it known to anyone that I was recording. Sometimes if I wanted to point it in a different direction, what I would do is I would be carrying an energy drink or something, and I would hold the phone like this, and I just have it like this.
Yeah.
And I never held it out and pointed it at anybody, and I was getting phenomenal footage of the stalking, and it was enough that they stopped it for 2 weeks outright, completely stopped. And then when it started up again, it was much more covert and less aggressive.
Did they let you keep the footage? Because I find with me, even if I get like a good picture, right, they delete it like there and then. They don't even wait. It's not 24 hours that night or anything. Like I'll be going through my pictures because I know I've got something and I want to relook at it.
I've got it.
If my eyes, if my camera got what my eyes were getting, you know what I mean? Because I tried to do the whole I'm not filming thing too. But yeah.
I have it saved on
videos erased.
Delete it. Yeah, and I've also seen them blur it out as well.
Yeah, I have it saved on an SD card, but I had it saved and backed up on both of my Google Photos accounts for both my email addresses. And I made sure, and I double checked, and I triple checked, and I quadruple checked that I had it saved on both accounts, not just one. And I double checked to make sure that I didn't just save it on one, that I saved it on both. Some really good street theater, like perfect proof that I narrated afterwards and was like, well, this is what I just got back from doing. This is what I did today. And they're all just repeating to me everything I did today. Those got deleted off both my Google accounts. A few videos, but I still have them on.
So you have got.
I keep lots of SD cards. You know, this one is what, 200 gigs. You can fit a lot on an SD card.
Wow. Yeah. Guess what? I figured out. Have you guys ever had like bad SD cards? I don't know how to really explain it. I call everything contaminated, right? When they got into something. My last SD card I used was hitting me. I was being EMF'd by it. And like in my cam on my car, usually when it's recording, it's just like a little red flashing light. But with the contaminated ones, I don't know what else to call them, it has a blue pulsing light where the red light is as well. So it's like a red outer glow, and then in the middle is a blue pulsing light. And it actually hits me. And to stop it from like getting me, I have to turn the camera so that the screen that you would normally look through to, like, you know how a dash cam's set up, right? So I have to like move that away for it to stop hitting me. So yeah, SD cards, watch out for SD cards. They can actually be turned into bloody weapon, EMF weapon on you. And you'll know the difference because, like I said, it's not that red flashing light. There's a blue light in it hitting you. So I just went through that. So I'm too scared to put that in the computer. I don't know if that's just like something that is designed to like hit me like a weapon, or if it's really, really bad and it's going to like do something bad to the computer. I don't know. But yeah, I just experienced that.
Don't you worry. Our computers already went for the virus apparently.
Yeah. So have you guys ever had that? Like
I had that this summer. I don't know about the SD card part of it, but that phone did have an SD card in it. I got targeted in my ear really bad this summer when I was on the phone talking to a certain person who's very heavily targeted when it comes to technology and getting hacked into and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like literally like someone was taking a hot knife and twisting it in my ear. And it all happened all at once. And I didn't realize it was the phone I was talking on. And as soon as I took it away from my head, the pain went down. So ever since, wow, my ear's hurting right now just talking about it.
Residual pain. It's like when everyone talks about headlights, everyone gets an itchy head.
My attackers have been
Alright.
hitting me in like both ears the whole night.
Too far applies to the shit.
Are you getting hit, Badger, or are you just remembering how bad it
I don't know. It might be psychosomatic. I don't know. I know yesterday I was
Go to
hanging
the
out.
toilet, guys. Sorry, I'll be back really soon. Keep
Okay,
talking.
Tansy.
I don't want to miss anything. Like, it's too interesting.
We'll,
But
we'll
I really
fill
wanna
you
go.
in. We'll fill you in when you get back.
All right, cool. All right, see you in a minute.
Nice.
I know yesterday I was hanging out with a new friend, and like we probably hung out for like 8 hours, and like almost the whole time, we were hanging out. Ever since that happened this summer with that cell phone, sometimes I get this thing where my eardrum just kind of, it's just quivering, but it kind of hurts, like it's pulsating or something. And that was really uncomfortable. It makes it really hard to think when your ear is like, feels like somebody's like in there with a pencil jabbing at it.
Do you get a high pitched ring with that, or is it just like a vibration?
Sometimes, but not all the time.
Yeah, I think that our attackers can just shoot directly into the ear, like with a frequency that you can't hear, but it could feel like a vibration or make your ear sore, and that can actually send signals through the vestibular system to the brain. Like, so they have so many ways to like actually pulse your ears and your vestibular system, you know.
Ever since that happened with that cell phone this summer, my right ear has been more sensitive than the left ear. Like, I'll just get pain in my right ear sometimes now for no reason. And if there's like loud noise or whatever, my right ear will start hurting. And it was from that cell phone I had. It was an Android.
Yeah, me and another target individual were talking about if there were certain apps on phones or something in phones where they could actually pulse from the phone intentionally, you know, like not only overload the phone with non-ionized microwave radiation, but actually intentionally like have a certain kind of frequency emitted from the phone, you know, like a field from the phone.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure.
I wouldn't doubt it. I know that 5G they're coming out with works at a frequency band of up to 100 gigahertz. And that's more strong than the active denial system. The active denial system, which is a military grade directed energy weapon, works at 95 gigahertz. So this 5G is literally a directed energy weapon. It could be used as, especially in the age of cyber warfare and hacking into things. The person that does it could have complete deniability because they could be hiding behind a laptop halfway across the world, and they can just have plausible deniability. The people that are really behind it say, "Oh, we don't know, Russia, big bad boogeyman, must have been Russia."
Yeah, and what's his name? That Bill Nye the Science Guy. He did this T-Mobile commercial about 5G, and he wanted to stress on the 5G can go through walls a lot easier than the other generations of wireless technology. So millimeter waves actually go through walls a lot easier. So look up T-Mobile Bill Nye the Science Guy. They had all these mannequins, and they would show the area that older some other 5G companies had, but the mannequins, they put this like energy around them, and they were like, our 5G encompasses this much area, and it's like all these mannequins, almost like those nuclear towns that they had, where they were like testing nuclear bombs. It's really
That's creepy. Definitely not creepy.
Yeah.
God, it reminds me of those few of those games, and one of them was just Fallout. How you see a mannequin, you feel like it's just gonna come alive and just murder you in your sleep.
Oh yeah,
it's so creepy.
Gets closer and closer.
Basically, it reminds me of clowns, except much more the mime type of style. That does nothing. It just watches you, and it's creepy as hell. I hate it.
Yeah.
Maybe they were the ones that invented it, how creepy they are. The whole time behind our backs, Americans started designing 5G and all sorts of stuff. And we just blamed on DARPA. They're the true elites of this world.
The mannequins, you
Tell
just
you
don't
what.
see them moving. They're doing all this stuff. They're creating all the 5G towers and everything. What's the distance between 5G towers? What is it, like 20 yards or 30 yards? What's the distance that they're going to keep them
It's
apart?
close, isn't it? Have you guys
It's
seen
really
it?
close.
Really
Yeah,
close.
really close. And then I think it's what, every like 10 houses or something have to have a mini tower on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, 4.
Yeah.
I was counting. It was actually around
5
4
or
houses. It's weird because
yeah.
I thought the same things, much preferred distance. No, it's actually closer. I'm like, oh god, it's way too close than what it should be, even though it's supposed to be
It's
close.
because of the millimeter waves. But then you got to look at how the bands of radiation work as well. With the way the towers are set up, there's no break in the radiation bands. Like, we're going to be swimming in a pool of radiation.
Yeah, and we already are. So 5G is just going to add to the infrastructure. It's just going to make it more of a
Exactly.
suit. Yeah.
But the way EMF waves travel and stuff like that, doesn't have to be so interlocked like how the 5G millimeter waves are,
Mhm.
So there is breaks with it, but with the 5G, nah. I mean, look at Trump. He won't have 5G in his area where he lives. Israel won't have 5G where they are, Like, I wonder where ours is not having 5G.
Yeah, the
And yet
rich
we're
families.
expected to, and yet we're expected to just cop it. Like, it's ridiculous. We've got to stop 5G, guys. I think it's actually going to be a big help with our targeting as well, because I honestly believe. Sorry, Kyle.
No. Well, I was just going to say, yeah. Like the people against 5G, they can come. I mean, they can help our group, right? And then there's also another group that's against autonomic weapon systems, which we're facing AI driven directed energy and neuro weapon systems. So we've got two huge groups that aren't necessarily the targeted individual community that can really, really help us out. But I was also going to say there's a ton of propaganda out. Like, there's YouTube videos that are getting millions of views where they're saying they're like comparing people's fear of 5G to when electric light bulbs came out. Like, people back in the past were like, oh, people's sleep cycles are going to be off and it's going to really hurt humanity. And they're saying, oh, that was just, that was superstition and stuff like that. And 5G isn't really dangerous. It's just human beings being really superstitious and thinking it's going to be dangerous. It is total BS. Like, as targeted individuals, we know how dangerous that stuff's going to be.
And who's been using 5G prior to the public getting it? It wasn't
The
Mickey
military.
Mouse and the crew.
Mm-mm.
Exactly. It's not a little toy, this is a weapon. Like, I mean, how in the head do people have to be that they can't even just see that one little point?
And
This
5G
is a militarized weapon in the public.
You're breaking up, Kyle.
The military gets
I thought that was...
Oh, really? Okay, you guys talk. My internet connection's unstable.
Yeah, with the 5G, it's very flawed. I saw this video of this guy testing it out in this area in like LA where it's already up and active with this 5G phone he got. And, 5G can go through wood and I think like masonry, like bricks and blocks, but it doesn't go through metal very good at all. And he was showing where his reception, if he would just walk behind like a car or something, where his reception would drop in and out, and his upload speeds for 5G were actually slower than his 4G on average. So that begs to ask the question, like, if 5G is so flawed, why are they putting all this effort behind it to push it if it's not better than 4G right now? So, I mean, that tells you right there. It's because it's a weapon they're putting out.
I was told that like big trees can block it. And we have literally got mountaintops being cleared around my area. And they're starting to clear off like the mountaintops near it, but not not fully like in like lines, but it's obvious. You can see, like, and I think how, because how millimeter waves work. So that's obviously the direction that they need it to go to connect with whatever the other towers and stuff. So from what I understand, big trees can block it. So thick wood can block it. Yeah, it's not like EMF waves that bounce around everywhere. It's a bit different,
because they're millimeter waves.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually, it's a very flawed technology, actually. Like, you can see how it would be a good weapon for a military to use, but on the communication basis, it's too flawed. Like, you'll get little bits and pieces of great internet experience with it, like that guy experience. That makes sense to me. Like, if you have a look at how it works, of course that's going to be what ends up happening. It's directional. It's like a laser, and it can be like blocked and diluted so easily.
Yeah.
But if you look at the trees, right, and at the thickness of it, what does a thick tree contain the most out of any other trees?
Water.
Exactly. So why can a thick tree stop such a weapon compared to, say, wood? Wood, it can go through wood, but it can't go through water. But there's enough. I think there's enough thing that big trees have, and that's thick sap, because that's its blood. So maybe it contains a mixture between water and tree sap. I don't know if it depends on sap in general, but between the two chemicals, maybe that's something that could actually either slow down or completely stop this directed weapon of damage or destruction. I lost my words there. But yeah, it's just, when I look at it, it looks like it's water, clean water with sap. That seems to slow it down a lot more than, say, what will be the one? Just regular tape. There you go. Like just regular tape. Like it could stop things or slow them down, but not as much as, say, pureness. I'm hungry, guys. I'm so sorry. My thinking process is horrible. I would, but I'm cooking and I have to wait.
Yeah, so
But
basically,
enjoyed listening.
I'll educate you guys.
I think you're making
bit.
a good point. I mean, I think trees, the weight of it.
I'll educate you guys a little bit on why. What's up? Can you guys hear me?
Frozen to me. Yeah, I think everybody can hear. I think I'm having problems with my computer. Go ahead, Badger.
So I'll educate you guys a little bit on why extremely low frequencies can travel through just about anything, and why millimeter wave, high frequencies have trouble traveling even through like a tree. So, everything in the electromagnetic spectrum is measured by wavelength and amplitude. So you've got your wave here, right? The wavelength is the distance between here and here, right? And the amplitude is the distance between the bottom and the top, right? So let me grab my, I don't need an eraser. Let me grab my eraser.
We're being schooled, people.
Going to school, getting schooled on wavelengths. I just know that millimeter waves are a lot closer together.
So a millimeter wave will look like this, really high and really close together, right?
It also sounds like that too.
Whereas ELF is going to look like this. They're called millimeter waves because the distance from here to here is literally measured in millimeters, whereas extremely low frequencies, the distance from here to here is measured in meters rather than millimeters. So the reason these millimeter 5G waves don't travel through things is because basically the density of the molecules in the object. So say here you've got some wood, right? Or here you've got some I don't know, some water. In here you've got some wood, right? And they're a lot farther spaced. The molecules are farther spaced together. When that wave goes through, it hits a molecule because on average, most of them, these waves have to slip between the molecules, right? They have to slip through those molecules. Whereas when you're talking an extremely low frequency, it's so long and the amplitude is so much lower, it slips right through because it's longer. Whereas these millimeter waves, they usually hit a molecule and they don't make it through. That's why lead, because the density of the molecules.
Because they're a lot tighter.
Exactly.
Like they're really tight.
So Deep Thought says that's nearly 150 years old. That's wrong. Well, that's what I learned in school. So
that's good information though, because I mean that tells us a lot about what kind of passive shielding we need to use. We need to use things that are very, very dense. I mean, like carbon-based things, silicone-based, metals that are very, very dense. You know, what's it? Mu metals. So it's very, very important information.
Even things with a thick texture. Like
Can
I've done a lot of.
I feel like Alice in Wonderland.
It's cutting
where
in
she's
and
like
out.
looking through the mirror. Okay, my attackers are completely messing up my computer. They're freezing up. I can't even see y'all. Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead. Go ahead. Y'all keep talking.
I got a little question for Badger, considering that you were just schooling us, my man. How come, how come low frequency wavelengths can't penetrate through foam as much as any other substance in the world?
Foam?
Foam, yes.
Like like soap foam or something?
Sea foam.
Sea foam or
No,
something?
foam.
I don't
Like
know. I
packing
never
foam.
heard that.
No, you guys are just, don't interrupt me, Pansy, please. No, I mean, do you know from that substance that you see from the water that it looks like foam? Basically that.
Yeah.
Why can't low frequency hit that? Like, can't penetrate through it as easy as like, I don't know, wood or something. Other materials.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, me either.
You can search it up.
Maybe it's full of lots of little molecules. Maybe there's like billions of little molecules all in it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it should be able to go through, but nobody can just figure out why. Like, all the scientists, top scientists in the world, are being like, we have no clue why this is happening. We've been trying.
Does anyone in chat know?
Hopefully, because it will make a lot more sense.
I can't see the chat, guys. So, Badger, can you see chat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Deep Thought was saying wavelength is a phonon. It's what accelerates particles which produce photons. Absorption, transmission, and reflection of photons is governed by their energy and energy levels available in materials. That's one of the big mysteries of the electromagnetic spectrum, is that they're not really sure if it's a particle or if it's a wave, because it acts like both at the same time. It's like light has a dual nature, but we still measure things in the electromagnetic spectrum in terms of frequency and wavelength. So we can observe it that way, even though in reality it might really be a particle.
Well, everything's made of particles, aren't they?
Atoms.
Well, light, light is it's a little
Oh,
different.
well, that was delayed.
Behaves like a wave of energy, but at the same time, it's like it has photons, particles. It's weird. And they can't really measure it in a lab.
Yeah, it acts more of a straight line.
Yeah.
Or mainly because of the reason of, well, I wouldn't say mainly because of the reason, but for the fact that light is on more of a straight directional stability compared to, say, frequency, like radio, how it's just a wavelength, as we all know. But with light, it's a lot more straight and a lot more direct to what it's going towards. The reason why we see light as it is. Like the pyramid one is a good one. That's a really old one. How if you shoot a light towards the top of that pyramid, it will break the light up into other lines, but they don't end up becoming squiggles, like up and down mountains. It's a straight line still. It doesn't change. It just changes in color and perspective. I could be completely wrong. I don't mind being that, but that's what I've researched. But I don't mind if I'm being wrong. Like, can anybody explain better than what I can, if you guys can understand me? I'm horrible at explaining things, so hopefully I didn't make it too hard to understand.
You want to know something trippy?
So,
I'm gonna like girl out on you here.
yeah.
I put fake plastic nails on today, right? In my car. And as I'm putting them on, they're being hit by the EMFs. They're being hit. You could hear the ding, 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 ding. And it even like made one come off. I had to re-stick it. And then once they dried, they stopped getting hit. How weird is that? So
I don't know what it was
nails,
probably resonating.
I think my nails are getting hit by EMF weapons, and I haven't even noticed it.
Maybe not necessarily your nails were being hit, but it was showing.
Yeah,
can you hear
and
me?
like with my hands, right? I get like Are you there?
Yeah, is there some kind of lag or something?
Are you there? I don't know, it just went really weird all of a sudden.
Oh.
It looked like you froze, but yeah.
There it is.
Yeah,
Please
have you ever had
So when you talk, right, the whole thing is being delayed. So it's taking a very long time to be heard.
okay, sorry. You know how like with your hands, right? Do you ever get like raised veins? And like your skin goes like really tight and your veins raise? Have you ever had that?
I don't think so.
I've got under better lighting, I should show you. I've got like burn marks from where they hit me a lot, right? Like I'm predominantly right-handed, and they hit me a lot in the wrist and a certain part of my hand. And when they're doing that, my skin goes all tight and my veins raise. And I never thought my nails would have a connection to it, but since I've had these nails on today, they haven't been targeting my hand, and there's not or my wrist, and there's not a day that goes by that they don't target it.
Yeah, it sounds like your nails are like resonating with the frequency. You know, like if you take a wine glass and you go at the right speed, it resonates to make a sound. I remember my uncles were telling me they always, every time we went fishing out in the Chesapeake Bay, they'd tell me this story about one time this storm was rolling in, and they had these brand new like carbon fiber fancy fishing poles that started humming. All of them started humming when this storm rolled in, because whatever frequency that storm brought in was resonating with those fishing poles, and they were all humming. So it sounds like your nails were resonating with some kind of frequency they were hitting you with.
What do you think could be causing that? Do you think it's just nails in general, or maybe there's a chemical or something on my nails I'm not aware of?
Well, it's probably just like those fishing poles. They were made out of a certain carbon fiber. You know, everything has it's called the resonant frequency, I think.
Yeah.
You know, those nails, whatever material they're made out of, resonated with whatever frequency that they were hitting you with at the time.
Yeah, that's my natural nails.
Like a wine
do that.
glass. Oh, your real nails.
Yeah, but covering up my nails has stopped that.
Oh, that's weird.
Covering them up with the plastic and the glue, which is just what fake nails are, has stopped it. Like usually my hands get so tense, like they cramp up, and I've got to like uncramp them, and I can't always wear rings and stuff because my fingers will swell. And yeah, but today, like, I'm not having any of those issues. It's so weird. So weird.
Yeah, that is weird. I would expect that with
know.
fake nails, but with real nails, I don't know. Maybe I guess everything has a resonant frequency, or maybe they could have directly been hitting them.
Maybe they could have been. Yeah, I know, because the plastic nails did get hit as I was putting them on, and then when they dried, they stopped getting hit. And I should have recorded it, but I didn't know that this was going to happen. And after that, my hands went like smooth and normal, and my veins went down, and yeah, like my hands haven't been so normal like forever. I can't even remember the last time. I think, you know how with all of this, with everything they do to you, you get kind of a little bit used to it. Like you don't even realize exactly what you're struggling through until you make a change, and then you realize, you're like, oh, how was I even getting through that? You know, like with the belly button thing, like once you take it off, you'll feel the waves stronger than you have probably for a really long time. Like seriously, like it made me like push backwards and forwards, and I thought I was gonna go down.
All right, you ready, Kyle? We're gonna rip them both off at the same time. You gotta rip it off like a Band-Aid, man.
No, dude, I got so much hair on my stomach. I got so much hair. I gotta leave it there.
I'm about to say I don't.
Dude, I can't. Y'all are frozen up. Like I can see still pictures of y'all. It's like my attackers are freezing everything up for me. Can y'all see me?
I'm watching the YouTube video. I'm watching the YouTube video, and you're crystal clear, Kyle.
Really?
Tell us in chat, y'all. Tell us in chat. How's Kyle's video and audio?
What are my attackers doing? Because y'all are like freezing up. Are y'all freezing up on the video, or you can see yourself fine? Like,
are you looking at us on Zoom or on YouTube?
On Zoom. On Zoom.
Look at us on the YouTube page.
And I'm sure
you're crystal clear, man.
You were
no, it seems fine.
Up and stuff before.
It's on Kyle's end.
Well, Kyle's is good now.
Like Tansy's frozen.
Am I frozen?
Yeah, you're like.
I know she's cold, but come on.
No, I wasn't saying that.
No, am I frozen? Am I frozen now?
No, to me, you're not.
Yeah, for me, my attackers are doing something. My attackers are just doing something to Zoom. So.
Am I frozen on yours, Badger?
Now you're not. Wait.
Hey.
I'm watching through the YouTube, and it's lagged behind like 10 seconds or whatever, just so I can watch the chat.
Did I do that right?
Okay, Tansy, now you're getting screwed. You just actually struggled.
Hey y'all, it's like 4 a.m. where I am. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Y'all, just any parting things to say? We'll do more of these, but I do just kind of want to keep them a little bit short so we can do more of them, instead of doing like 8 hours or like I was.
Yeah,
doing.
Cool.
Biohacker.
It was fun.
Biohacker, I love your face. It's got a very character to it.
Wait, me or Badger?
No, I was there's this guy in the chat called Biohacker Zip, and I just looked at his picture, and it looks mwah.
Oh my gosh.
You got a beautiful face. You got a beautiful face.
Very
so
much.
Beautiful. I got this thing on my face. I've been rubbing this because I've been really stressed out. I start rubbing right here, and it made like a blister. And I got a blister right here. and just keep picking at it.
I got this face right here. Can't do much about it.
Yeah, my
It
face.
looks like hair to me.
I try to rub it away, but it just stays there.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming for the live stream. Y'all want to say anything to the chat to kind of end it out, or just
Cover up your belly buttons.
cover up your belly buttons? I'm going to study that too. I'm going to study what the reason, because Tomahawk's very smart. Tomahawk's using the ZVS driver and some other stuff. I may talk to him and see what he thinks, why that is, you know, because I could see something like that, like it's an opening in our body, right? Your belly button has a small opening that actually goes in there, and it could be something you're using to, like, it could be conducting something along the belly button to actually be penetrating the body somehow. So I'm just very curious.
And I find that, like, you know how your belly button indents usually, unless you've got an outie. Like, it works better if you keep going with the tape so you don't have that indent.
Okay.
So do you guys still have that indent?
Yeah, anybody that has an outie is actually a form of a umbilical hernia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did a lot of research on hernias when I got mine this summer.
Well, it's like when women get pregnant, they get the outie belly button. It's like, so that's like
it pushes out. Yeah.
It's, I don't have the end, it's flat. It's like flat. The tape is flat.
Yours is flat?
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's what, like, I've got a really deep belly button, so that's why I had to do a few layers, but I found that it worked better once I got it flat. So depending on your belly button.
I got a messed up belly button. I had my stomach cut open in 2008 to have a dissection, resection of my colon. So, like, my belly button's really stretched thin like this. Kind of weird. I'm not going to show y'all or anything.
Oh, so you probably only need a little bit of tape.
Yeah, it's like my belly button's kind of like, it's been stretched a little bit like that.
Yeah. Definitely sleep with it on, Kyle.
Okay.
Definitely sleep with it on, because it gave me a great sleep. Like, every time I lie down, they give me the vibrations and stuff, and they hit me harder with the EMFs. But with my belly button covered, it's not happening. So I'm still getting little dings on the head, but like I said, it's not that constant stream that they like to hold, like right in the middle of my head. It's just like ding, 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 and it seems to be more neurotic as well. Like I'll put the foil on because I've been like, I like to listen sometimes, not just to shield, because I've been, like, as you can see, doing the stealing and stuff. And I've noticed since doing the belly button, it's like they're all over the place. It's like ding here, ding there, ding there, ding there. Whereas beforehand, it was like the same old spots every time. Yeah.
That's how mine are. It's just like they'll either hit the back of my neck right here and just keep a stream going, or they'll hit like right here and just keep the whole area hot, or they'll actually just hit me in the front of the head. I mean, they really hit me everywhere. They'll kind of switch it around all day. My grounding seems to help that. And then when I sleep, I make sure that I'm sleeping up. Make sure I'm sleeping on an incline, because when you get all your blood flowing to your head, it's more intense. Like, your vestibular system's going to have a lot of blood around it. So the electromagnetic pulses to the vestibular system are going to be more intense. So everybody should try and sleep on an incline. You also
need that circulation too. Like, you know, you need that blood flow while you're sleeping. It's part of the resting process. But I've stopped using pillows because I used to have to sleep like that too. So I don't use pillows anymore. I just use my blankie, and I make sure that my shoulders have blanket bunched up underneath it as well.
Nice.
But I found, no kidding, since covering up this belly button business, I don't have to worry about that. Because, like, during the night when you sleep and, you know, you're messing your bed up, I'd have to, like, wake up and sort of, like, fix it up to get it back under my shoulders. Because as soon as my shoulders were exposed, they'll hit me harder, and especially the vibrations and stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to put a bunch on. Like, I'm going to get the electrical tape and just put a bunch of layers on so that I'm really doing it doing a lot of it, and I'm going to see. What I'm kind of worried about, though, I'm kind of worried about our attackers, how they do psyops. So they'll probably, give me one night of just like, oh yeah, that works, and then I don't know, but Tomahawk knows the stuff. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well,
Tomahawk's a
that's
very
why
smart
I
guy.
kept mine on. So it's been a couple of days now for me.
Yeah, I think anything we've got to try it for like, a couple of weeks to a month to see if it's going to work. Yeah.
I've also done this with my spine as well.
Sorry to interrupt, guys, but I'm going to get off real quick. I'm starving. And it was nice talking to you guys. Love yous. Thank you for teaching me better about waves. And Kyle, keep fighting, keep motivating yourself. God, I forgot already.
You're welcome. I know I teach you a lot about life. Now you go run and get some food. I love you. I love you, Tyler. I love you, Tyler. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've done it to my spine as well. And it's like with the tape thing on my spine. And I've left it on for like a couple of days and stuff. I usually leave it on for at least a couple of days. And then when I take it off, I get like nanofibers that come off and like the chemical stuffs that come off on the tape, and my spine doesn't get hit for about a week, and then I've got to put it back on again.
Okay.
So I use the tape for the spine as well, but you've got to do right from the base of your tailbone up. Okay. And you want a thicker tape, like that tape I showed you, that fabric tape. Like that's waterproof and everything. Like I said, it's like a duct tape, but the adhesive on it's not as strong. So, and you could use electrical tape if you've got a thick one, I suppose. It'd be annoying working with a thin one. But obviously, guys, if you're going to use like any type of adhesive on yourselves, like do a little test area first and make sure you don't have any allergic reactions. Don't want people to come back with rashes and stuff. So, find the right tape for you.
But it's going to hurt when I take it off because I got like a lot of hair and it's really hurt.
Yep, you're gonna get a wax job as well.
Like on the like the 30-year-old virgin or the 40-year-old virgin where he gets the wax and he's like yelling.
Stop!
Oh goodness.
I do got one thing to add before we get off here is to all TIs out there and anybody for that matter, unplug your Wi-Fi when you go to sleep. I notice I sleep way better when I unplug my Wi-Fi router before I go to sleep. Because if I don't, it's guaranteed I'm gonna wake up with a headache and a brain fog. Sometimes my eyes will even be like beet red, and I don't feel so bad when I wake up when I use the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I mean, when I turn off the Wi-Fi, I unplug it.
I don't do that. I'm gonna do that tonight because I don't do that enough. Like I usually fall asleep like watching my internet or something like that on the phone. Ooh, no, I don't. Same. I can listen to Dave Case's CD on the computer and I can turn my Wi-Fi off. I'm gonna do that tonight. I'm gonna see.
Oh man, it works for me, dude, big time.
Yeah, any little bit, man. I mean, I think that's a big bit too. I think turning off the Wi-Fi is a huge thing because I think it helps our attackers like target us better. You got that non-ionized microwave radiation coming off of it, and it's like they can surveil all that. They can surveil what's in that cloud.
Think about what they could do with not this cell phone, but what they did with my Android I had this summer. The frequencies they were able to create to make my ear feel like it was a hot knife digging in there. That's only a battery, and it's a pretty small transceiver in there. Think what they can do to a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi router that's plugged into the wall. How much power can be amplified from that?
Can be pushed through it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir. I've even heard some people say don't charge your phone at night either.
Don't charge it?
Yeah, don't charge it at night. You're better off charging it during the day. And obviously, when you go to bed and stuff like that, like have the phone away from you, like out of the room. Don't even have it in the same room.
I do airplane mode and I turn it off every night.
Yeah, but even then, because they can turn it back on and stuff, so have it out.
Okay.
Yeah, because I used to do the airplane mode thing too, and they still have control of my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, they still could get into your phone with airplane mode
yeah,
on.
because I just learnt this, right? What's these parts called? Can you see that? I don't know, it might be too dark in here. Can you see it? The charger bit that you push into your phone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can come into your house and change it out or put something in there. MMT strategy guide. He did a video about it. And I don't know about you guys, but I've had random stuff like chargers that look exactly like the same to me, all of a sudden won't fit into the USB part where you put it in to charge it. Like this
So
one used to fit perfectly, now it doesn't fit. It's too
Yeah.
small. So I think this one has been tampered with, and it can put like viruses and all that on your phone, and gosh knows what else. MMT strategy guide could tell us a lot more than what I can, and it's probably why too, like people are having problems with their phone when they're charging it at night as well, because they've got a contaminated charger going on. So
Wayne says, wrap it in a hot dog roll, then foil. So let's take our phone and wrap it in a hot dog roll, and then put it in some tin foil.
The hot dog roll is key, though. You know, and it'll be toasty when you take it out of the foil from that microwaving.
I've been told you can put it in like a bag of chips, like like those Lay's chips, bags of chips.
And that's aluminum. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he was just being silly, but.
Look,
it really
like, hey, will it work? I don't care if it's a hot dog or a packet of chips. I'll do it.
or I mean, you can put your phone in the microwave, but just don't turn it on.
Yeah, I've done that, and because you can also, to make sure your microwave is like sealed and hasn't got any issues with the seal, you can put your phone in there and ring it yourself, or get someone to ring it, and if it doesn't ring and it says no signal, then your microwave's perfectly sealed. If it does, then obviously it's not. But when I put it in the microwave, because I have done that before, I just turn it off the microwave and unplug it, because I'm paranoid. I'm so paranoid. Hey, like, oh my gosh, the stuff they've done to my dish. Oh, the stuff they've done. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, the stuff that I've done to my place too. Hey, this stuff makes you paranoid. It's not your fault. We're human beings,
I know you can't trust anything. You can't trust your jug. You can't trust your toaster. Oh my goodness. The amount of times my jug has turned itself on and off is ridiculous.
Really? So
I have to make sure that's unplugged. Yeah. Even with it turned off on the wall. And I found out a while ago now, but even with your power turned off, it's still getting power through. That's why standby and all that doesn't really save you electricity. Like, you've actually got to unplug it from the wall. Like, yeah. All this tampering stuff that they can do, it's crazy.
Yeah, tampering without even coming in your house sometimes. They can hit stuff with directed energy. Mine have destroyed electronic cigarettes, batteries. They've just hit so many electronic CD players.
Yeah, and they would know your wiring and everything too. Like, they'd know exactly where to hit and to run it. Yeah, like unplug stuff, hey. Like, make that maybe part of your bedtime ritual. Just unplug things that you don't need plugged in.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Some people actually will shut their power off. They'll shut it off like at the breaker. They'll just shut off all their power, but then it's like you got to be careful not to shut your air conditioner off.
And what about your fridge?
Yeah, the fridge.
Like in Australia, man, because it's so hot here, like, you can't have your fridge off for too long.
Yeah, I have ice cream in my fridge. I don't want that to melt and stuff.
Yeah, it'd be melted in like half an hour here, man. Even in the freezer.
Yeah, how hot is it there now? Is it in the hundreds?
We're having some okay days. Today was pretty hot. I'm not too sure what temperature was. I should be more onto that, I suppose. I just
It's
started
like
feeling really hot.
it's like 15 degrees Celsius, aka 150 degrees Fahrenheit.
Is that what it is where you are?
No,
Thanks,
I'm
Joe.
just poking fun at how you guys use Celsius.
Yeah. I tell you what, that'd be like our middle of the winter. That's a cold winter day for us.
15
And a
Celsius.
rare one.
I think
Yeah.
it'd be like, wait,
No,
60
Fahrenheit.
something degrees Celsius would be like 110 degrees Fahrenheit or something.
Yeah, Wayne Morris just said in the chat 110. That must be Fahrenheit.
110. Yeah, that's Fahrenheit, definitely. If that was 110 Celsius, that's like 200 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. Something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Hot,
Well, I love
like the
y'all.
sun.
Yeah,
Love you
it's
too.
just love you guys. We'll do another one of these. Thank you all for coming, and thanks for all the knowledge and all the information for helping other TIs. Definitely, every TI try the tape thing. Who knows? Who knows what's going to work and what doesn't work. So
I'm getting good results, and Yvette C has tried it, and she got good results. Tomahawk got good results. So far, so good.
and maybe we'll try a magnet with it. Like a magnet down at the belly button.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for coming on. I love you guys. And we'll do another one of these soon. Okay.